Will the meeting please come to order? Today is Tuesday, May 6th. This is the 8th meeting of 2025 and the 37th meeting of the current term of the Metropolitan Council of Nashville and Davidson County. Will all members of the council, as well as the public, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation is being offered this evening by Pastor Tim York of Rejoice Free Will Baptist Church in Antioch. Pastor York is the guest of District 32 Council Member Joy Stiles. Go ahead, sir.
Let's pray. We come to you tonight, our Father, knowing that you hold all power and that you're the God of all blessing. I pray for these who serve the city or they're stewards of your people and of the work. I pray for direction. I pray for wisdom. You have taught us that if we lack wisdom, we're to ask you, and you will give it freely to us. I pray that will happen on a daily basis here in the city that we love. Help each one of us as citizens to serve one another. May we find ways to make impact on lives of people who are hurting, people who are broken, people who are suffering, or folks who are doing well. May we share and be good neighbors. For you've also taught us to love you and to love one another. And we ask all this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor York. Happy May, council and community members. As I said to council members in my monthly newsletter to them this weekend, May in Metro brings budgets and bikes. So regarding budget, I encourage you all to watch the start of last night's Budget and Finance Committee with a presentation from Director Reed and Aaron Pratt of Metro Finance. Also, a helpful resource for council and for constituents is the Citizen's Guide to the Budget, which can be found online at nashville.gov. Regarding bikes, you all have on your desks from the Nashville Department of Transportation, NDOT, a Bike Month bingo card. So with many good ideas for biking this month, you can mark off a square by taking a bike ride to a nearby place that you would normally drive, or by joining the Metro Council for the Tour de Nash bike ride. If you would like to join with the council on the free, family-friendly, closed-to-cars around the core of downtown Tour de Nash route, it is connecting to many of what are presently still disconnected bikeways, and you will be able to experience what it will be like when they are fully connected and protected. Please do go online to Walk Bike Nashville to register, and we will see you on Saturday, May 17th. Council members, please do touch base this evening with Transportation and Infrastructure Chair Sean Parker, who is kindly coordinating council's participation. So council, much as we do in Transit Month with our Tri-Transit and Transit Together initiatives, it is important for this council to be knowledgeable about and participate in actively using our infrastructure, and that includes our bikeways for all their challenges. Today is Council Member at Large and Budget and Finance Committee Chair Delisha Porterfield's birthday. Happy birthday, Councilwoman. Chair Porterfield will be this council's capable guide through the budget season. And I'm also going to bend my rule about only mentioning a member's birthday from this day as if it falls on the same day as the council meeting, because Councilwoman Olivia Hill had a milestone birthday yesterday and turned 60 years young. So happy birthday to both these ladies serving Nashville as at-large council members. Councilwoman at-large Zulfat Swara is hosting her second annual Youth in Local Government Day this Thursday afternoon. That's from 2 to 6 p.m. Here at the historic courthouse and City Hall. Providing increased youth engagement and civic education opportunities here in our council chamber have been hallmarks of this council term. And so I hope you will join me in volunteering for Youth and Local Government Day this Thursday. Today is National Nurses Day. Tomorrow is National Teacher Appreciation Day. So I want to extend this council's appreciation to all our city's caregivers and educators. This past weekend, that's right, yay. This past weekend was a very challenging one for our immigrant communities, especially in South Nashville and the Nolensville corridor. We know the recent activity by state and federal law enforcement will impact our local school communities and public health and safety. So I also want to express support for all of Nashville's immigrant communities in all of their diversity. We are a nation of immigrants. Diversity of experience, culture, and background make our city stronger. And I appreciate Pro Tem Sepulveda and Chair Vo and all the members of the Immigrant Caucus of the Metro Council for lifting their voices. And I appreciate Public Health and Safety Chair Evans for convening a special meeting of her committee to hear more about the activities of ICE and the THP this past weekend, and to learn more about the current landscape of immigration enforcement in Nashville. That special meeting will be in this chamber tomorrow at 4 or 4:30, Margaret? It's at 4 o'clock. I wrote 4:30, which in my head I thought was perhaps not correct. So 4 o'clock. So thank you, Chair, for convening that. All right. Without objection, we will suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to please record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of the meeting of April 15th, 2025? Okay, properly moved and seconded without objection. And seeing no one seeking to be recognized for a change to the minutes of the meeting of April 15th are approved. Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages from the mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. All right. So now we're going to be rolling right into our agenda. All right. Section E, appointees and nominees. This portion of the agenda shares all persons that were scheduled to appear before the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee for an interview this evening. Referrals or re-referrals will be back to the committee by rule as part of the council's two-meeting process for all elections and confirmations. No votes will be taken by the body in this section of the agenda other than for deferrals. Chair Prep T, your committee report, please.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. With regard to the nomination of Councilmember Stiles to the Cheatham County Rail Authority, the committee voted 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the Emergency Communications District E911 Board appointment of Daniel B. Dwyer, the committee voted for that nomination, as well as the nomination, as well as the Greenway and Open Space Commission appointment of Cedric Duncan. The committee voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the Greenways and Open Spaces Commission appointment of Murray Hill, as well as the Greenways and Open Spaces appointment of James Moore, and the Human Relation Commission nomination of Jermaine Cole. All those received a vote of 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the Metropolitan Transit Authority appointment of Jeff Haynes, the committee voted 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the nomination of Chair Evans to the Nashville and Eastern Rail Authority, the committee voted 7 in favor, 0 against, 1 not voting. For the Procurement Standards Board nominations of Sarah Martin, Bob Braswell, and Roger Lynchen Jr., the committee voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting, respectively. For the Tourism and Convention Commission appointment of Sherry Franklin, as well as the Tourism and Convention Commission appointment of Thomas Petrolo. The committee voted 5 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. For the Work Release Board reappointment of Ron Parham, as well as the Work Release Board reappointment of Father Edward Steiner. The committee voted 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you, Chair Prep T. So all those folks that were interviewed today will be referred back for confirmation consideration at the meeting of May 20th by rule. All right. There are no confirmations on our agenda this evening. So that's a little bit unusual, but we will just keep on rolling right into our public comment period. Okay, we're on section F of our agenda. Members of the public who are Tennessee residents wishing to speak during public comment may sign up at a table that is outside the council chamber from 5 to 6 p.m. on the day of a council meeting. Public comment is limited to 20 minutes total, and each speaker is allowed up to 2 minutes to speak. Persons speaking on agenda items must be prioritized to comply with state law. Okay. All right. We have 3 folks who have signed up for public comment this evening. And so I would just ask, in the interest of time, that they all go ahead and stand up and come forward. First among them being Deluvio Fosath Palazzolo, speaking on agenda item number 63 in opposition. And after that will be Linda McFadden Ketchum. Go ahead, Deluvio, you are recognized.
Thank you. So this is something absolutely related to traffic safety and the safety and health of our total community. It disgusts me seeing how much money we keep trying to throw at MMPD to keep being part of the systems abusing the people of Nashville. $720,000. There are nearly 100 people now missing. They've been sent to, they say New Orleans, but that's just for now, with no care given to their loved ones, their lives, and those they impact, all with the assistance of Tennessee and Nashville law enforcement, who we do know were there based on the statements of people who were taken and then released under the guise of traffic stops against unsafe behaviors, as this resolution phrases it. Families, friends, and neighbors who have homes here, communities, hobbies, and contributions that build the fabric of our culture in Nashville. A fabric that's being completely torn apart by the institutions like MNPD and Highway Patrol, which the mayor's office and some council members claim are for our safety and protection as they destroy the city. The city is its people, and ICE and all those who support their actions, even those just following orders, are destroying it. It's shameful and disgusting that ICE is allowed to exist in the first place, let alone that the police are supporting them. The residents of Nashville and all those who've been taken are residents, are owed a community where we don't fear being disappeared by the discriminatory, racist, and oppressive regime we're forced to live under through something as arbitrary as a traffic stop. Any law enforcement who supported ICE over the weekend need to be held accountable for what this was, a mass kidnapping. We need to know where everyone was taken, exactly where they were truthfully being taken, be given the ability to contact them, and be able to get them representation. The only responsibility any official has is to get under no conditions work with ICE and permanently show them the door. I mean, this is just absolutely ridiculous because the system uses things like sustained, highly visible, and proactive enforcement to uphold the regime desires like this weekend. Why? Why?
Thank you. Next is Linda McFadden Ketchum. She's speaking on agenda item number 76. This is resolution 2025-1211 in support. And for the other folks in the queue behind the third speaker, this is our public comment period, not our public hearing. So if you are here for a public hearing item, you will be called forward as we move through the agenda. Okay? Go ahead, Ms. McFadden Ketchum, you're recognized.
Thank you. Hello, I am Linda McFadden Ketchum from District 24. I'm here representing the Middle Tennessee Moms Demand Action Group. We are a gun safety and gun violence prevention organization, and we support Councilmember Gadd's resolution. Since 2009, Tennessee law has required persons subject to domestic violence orders of protection to get rid of any firearms they have within 48 hours of the order going into effect. They must submit a firearms declaration form to the court saying they have gotten rid of their guns. They can sell them or transfer their guns to a third party like a trusted friend. They just are not permitted to lawfully possess firearms while they are the subject of a domestic violence restraining order. While some abusers obey the law, many do not. This puts their victims, wives, children, and others at great risk. Metro's Office of Family Safety follows all of these cases. In 2024, they identified 302 alarming cases, 212 with incomplete forms, and another 90 where dishonesty is suspected. So what happens to these cases? Right now, not much. This resolution could solve that problem. It asks the Metro Nashville Police Department and the District Attorney's Office to sit down together to decide where a dedicated gun dispossession investigator position could be housed. This person would make sure that domestic violence perpetrators obey state law. To our knowledge, there is no position like this in Davidson County at this time. All the parties in a domestic violence situation are in danger. Between 2018 and 2020, 42% of domestic violence, firearm, homicide.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you.
McFadden Ketchum. Thank you. Next is Richard Miller, speaking on agenda items 71 and 53. These are resolutions 2025-1206 in support and 1188 in opposition. Go ahead, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. My name went down a little wrong. It's Miller Way, but that's quite all right. I'm in District 11. Okay. So a few points. With 1206, I know many of us recognize how far behind in many ways Nashville has been on infrastructure, which is why it's been great to see things like the infrastructure bill that's gone through. So little things like this to accept, changes in our sewer system are really important measures that help us move forward in our infrastructure. But also, until recently, I was a renter myself. I have a lot of friends who are renters. I know y'all don't hear from renters as much. Some of them may not think you're listening. I shouldn't say we because I'm no longer a renter myself, but my friends and my fellow Nashvillians deserve affordable housing too. So please, when these bills come in front of you, any of them, please think about that. They're not always the loudest voices in the room, but they are really important members of our community. A second item I wanted to bring up, I think we all know these aren't ordinary times. It's been spoken of a lot. I really appreciate the statements that many of you have released. I appreciate that many of you were there on Sunday, and I appreciate that we have what's coming tomorrow. I was out with a number of others in the community documenting Tennessee Highway Patrol and ICE working together. I personally witnessed them following them directly. Please keep showing up. Please reach out to groups like the Remix in town that are doing the work. If all you know how to do is show up and be present, that's incredibly important right now. And I am running close on time, so I wanted to add 1188, considering the times we're in, I think is not just an ordinary bill. So think about that, please, when that comes up. Thank you.
Thank you. And that concludes public comment. Okay, members, we are going to go back to Section E. Chair Prep T, Special Counsel Darby shared with me that I believe we had one deferral. And so we need to take votes on those deferrals. And so I'm going to recognize you, and we can get input from Special Counsel Darby if you need some assistance on who that is. Is that Mr. Father Steiner? Okay.
Yes, yeah. So we'll do a point of clarification on that. The committee voted for with regard to the work release board reappointment of Father Edward Steiner. The committee voted in favor for a one meeting deferral, 6 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. Okay,
and would you move the same, please, by motion?
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor of the one meeting deferral for the interview first portion of the reappointment of Father Steiner, please say aye.
Aye.
Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, all right, we've got everything in Section E in order. And so Section F, public comment, has concluded, and now we are on Section G regarding rules of procedure. So we take up amendments to council's rules of procedures as we would a legislative resolution. Councilmember Benedict has filed a proposed amendment to brand-new Rule 9.3, which is in effect for the first time at this meeting, but also in effect now is the new rule that all proposed amendments to the council's rules of procedure will have a mandatory deferral by rule. So this item is deferred by rule to the meeting of May 20th. Okay? All right. Next, we are moving into our public hearing portion of our agenda. Section H is resolutions on public hearing, and Section I is bills on public hearing. Spanish interpretation services are provided for all Metro Council public hearings, and Council Office team member Karina Valdez is here as our interpreter. Ms. Valdez, will you please share how you can help?
Los servicios de interpretación en español estarán disponibles en la audiencia pública. Gracias.
Okay, gracias. We appreciate you. For those wishing to speak this evening as part of public hearings, please do state your name, but it is not required for you to provide your exact address if you do not wish to do so. You may want to tell us in what neighborhood or area you live, what your connection to an agenda item or project is, or who your council member is. Okay? All right. First on our agenda item 1, RS 2025-1172 is a resolution exempting 2301, this is sponsor Taylor, a resolution exempting 2301 Elliston Place from the minimum distance requirement for obtaining a short-term rental property not owner-occupied permit. Councilman Taylor, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to open the public hearing, please.
Let's see, for these, sir, if you would please
Yes.
request your committee report
Yes,
first.
committee report from GovOps.
Okay, for Chair of GovOps and Regulations, Ms. Hill, this is regarding 1172, sponsor Taylor, short-term rental.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. We voted for approval, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, all right, so now it's back to you, Mr. Taylor.
Thank you. Please open the public hearing.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this resolution please raise your hand? Okay, would all members of the public here in opposition to this resolution please raise your hand? Okay, seeing no one here on either side seeking to speak in the public hearing, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it is back to you, Mr. Taylor, for a motion on your resolution.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval with a comment.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, go ahead, sir.
It's just explaining this. This currently now, the property is currently a short-term rental, non-owner occupied. The waiver was triggered by change of property ownership. The property that's in question is near a church, which is West End United Methodist Church. This is on Elliston Place. The new property owner had a conversation and meetings with West End United Methodist Church. They sent me a note from the church saying that they're okay with this continuing to be a short-term rental, and that's why we're here today.
All right, I appreciate the explanation. Mr. Taylor has renewed his motion to approve. Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Oh, okay. On this resolution, may we record those two abstentions, Mr. Clerk? Okay, if you would please raise your hand if you are abstaining on this resolution, so Mr. Clerk can so record it. That looks to be 3 abstentions. Okay, thank you. All right, you have adopted this resolution. All right, next is Agenda Item 2, RS 2025-1173, sponsors Porterfield and Parker. This is a resolution authorizing the Nashville Department of Transportation and Multimodal Infrastructure, NDOT, to purchase and utilize surveillance technology available under a statewide multi-year cooperative agreement issued to Samsara Inc. for the purpose of monitoring NDOT salt trucks in the public right-of-way in real time. Okay, Ms. Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting in favor.
Okay, let's see, did your mic just fade out?
It did, it's back.
Okay, you're on there. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, Chair Parker, you're recognized, sir.
Transportation and Infrastructure recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
Okay, all righty. Ms. Porterfield, do you seek to open the public hearing?
I would like to open the public hearing.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this resolution, please raise your hand? Okay, would all members of the public here in opposition to this resolution, please raise your hand? Okay, seeing no one here in support or in opposition, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on your resolution.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move for approval with a brief comment.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We have I believe it's about 4 pieces of legislation that we are about to go through that all have the term surveillance in them. We did go through and discuss it in depth in our Budget and Finance Committee yesterday to confirm that none of these pieces of legislation are surveillance in the idea that people may think of surveillance. So these are things, I believe for this one, this is a camera to monitor the amount of salt that's in the truck, that's also monitoring roadway conditions. We did confirm that with all of the pieces of legislation, none of these cameras or devices will be able to capture people's images, no facial recognition software, no license plate reader software. I believe in this one in particular, they have something that will actually blur if it does, because it is pointing at the street, it does have something that will blur anything to make sure that it does not capture any identifying information for anyone. So I just wanted to make sure that the body was aware, because it does have the term surveillance. And because of that, we do have to have a public hearing for each one of these. But I just wanted to make sure it was abundantly clear to both the community as well as my colleagues that this is not surveillance in that extent. And I would like to ask my colleagues to vote in support of the legislation.
I appreciate that context and clarification. All right, is there any discussion on Resolution 1173? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Oh, I am so very sorry. We have to have a public hearing, which I did not. Oh, no, we did. Already did the public hearing. That's okay.
Thank you for, Thank you. I think it was the blue that distracted you, but thank you.
Okay, all right. We did open it, we closed it, we called everybody, we have called the vote, and this resolution has been adopted. All right, next is Agenda Item 3, Resolution 2025-1174, sponsors Porterfield and Parker, a resolution authorizing the Department of Water and Sewerage Services to utilize surveillance technology available under a cooperative master agreement with Rubicon Global LLC. Ms. Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, Budget and Finance approved this legislation, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
And Chair Parker.
We recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
I would like to open the public hearing, please.
Okay. I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this resolution, please raise your hand? Would all members of the public here in opposition to this resolution, please raise your hand? Okay. I see 2 folks in opposition. Do you seek to be recognized to speak? Okay, they are shaking their head no. And so with that, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on the bill, Ms. Porterfield.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move for approval with a very brief comment.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, go ahead.
So I already explained about the surveillance piece, so I won't go through that on each piece of legislation. We do, since we did have some people here that are in opposition, I was not aware of that. But after, I do have to stay up here to go through the pieces of legislation that I have, but I will gladly go back to answer any questions that the people in the gallery may have after we're done with this. So with that, I would like to renew my motion for approval.
Okay. All right. We are properly moved and properly seconded and on to discussion. Ms. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just would like to pick up on the information that Councilmember Porterfield has been providing. This particular one is a sensor inside the truck, and all it does is look for contamination. Is there plastic bags in the garbage truck? So I just want to make sure people understand what types of things we're talking about here. So just a clarification.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, is there any further discussion on Resolution 1174? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, Mr. Clerk, if you would record Ms. Kimbrough as an abstention, please. All right, you have adopted this resolution. Next, among these similar items on public hearing is Resolution 2025-1175, sponsors Porterfield and Parker, a resolution authorizing the Department of Water and Sewerage Services to utilize surveillance technology available under a cooperative purchase or cooperative master agreement with Verizon Connect NWF, Inc. Ms. Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Transportation Infrastructure Chair Parker, you are recognized.
We recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
Thank you. Okay.
Open the public hearing, please.
Yep. I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this resolution, please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this resolution, please raise your hand? Seeing no one here seeking to be recognized in support or opposition, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on this resolution.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move for approval with a brief comment.
Okay, is there a second? Go ahead, ma'am.
So this piece of legislation has GPS tracking for the trucks, and it has diagnostic services. So there is a wand that they use on the truck as a diagnostic tool before or after a trip of the truck.
Trash truck?
Trash
Recycle truck?
What kind of truck?
Waste services trucks.
No, it was I don't think this one was the salt truck. Waste services.
Yes.
Waste services.
Yeah.
It is proof of inspection that the truck has been inspected before and after each trip.
Yes.
Thank you for this team effort. That was a group project there. Thank you.
Yes, we heard about it in committee yesterday. Appreciate that. Yep. All righty. You've heard an explanation from Chair Porterfield with an assist from Chair Hill. And is there any further discussion or questions on Resolution 1175? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution. Agenda item 5, Resolution 2025-1176, sponsor Porterfield and Parker. This is a resolution authorizing the Department of Water and Sewerage Services to utilize surveillance technology available under a cooperative master agreement with Zonar Systems, Inc. Ms. Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
And Transportation Infrastructure Chair Parker, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
I would like to open the public hearing.
And I will declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this resolution, please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this resolution, please raise your hand? Okay, seeing no one here in support or in opposition, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on your resolution.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move for approval with a brief comment.
Is there a second? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I misspoke on the last one. The puck and wand is actually for this piece of legislation, but this is the same thing. It's the puck and wand to inspect the trucks. Thank you.
Okay, got it. I think the community can understand that these are all in the space of NDOT, waste services, salt trucks, trash, and all those things, and they are system things. So thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor.
Okey dokes, I appreciate the clarification. Is there any further discussion on Agenda Item 5, Resolution 1176? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, council has also adopted this resolution. All right. Okay, that was the last resolution on public hearing, and now we are moving into bills on public hearing, okay? So first two among those are agenda items 6 and 7. Ordinance BL 2025-703 and its companion 704. Sponsors Gadd, Horton, and Allen. 703 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government of Nashville and Davidson County, by applying a historic landmark overlay district for property located at 4301 Harding Pike, 296 feet southwest of Woodlawn Drive, zoned CS and located within the Harding and White Bridge Urban Design Overlay. This is 3.99 acres. And again, it's companion 704, which requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings in Ordinance 703. Ms. Gadd, you are recognized.
Thank you so much, Madam President. With these two, I am going to ask for a deferral to the July 15th meeting, the second meeting in July.
Okay, there is not a public hearing scheduled for the second meeting in July.
That's right. I think there is for the, I actually want to move it to the first week in, the first Tuesday in August.
Okay. So there is a motion to defer the second reading and public hearing of 703 and 704 to the first meeting of August. Properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion to defer both these bills to the first meeting in August? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, both these bills are deferred to the first meeting in August. Okay, next is agenda item 8. Ordinance BL 2025-727, sponsor Benedict. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from RS 7.5 to R8A zoning for property located at 800 Gwynn Drive at the southeast corner of Patapsco Street and Gwynn Drive. This is 0.32 acres. Councilwoman Benedict, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing, please.
Okie dokes. I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this bill please raise your hand? Okay. Okay. Okay, Ms. Benedict, I'm hearing from the planning table that this needs to be deferred for lack of notice.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. And your motion to defer is?
I'd like to defer to the first meeting in the next month, June.
July.
Sorry.
There is no
June.
zoning public
You're
hearing
exactly right.
in June. Okay.
Thank you.
So there is a motion to defer to the public hearing in July. Is there a second for that motion? Okay. Is there any discussion on that motion to defer to the first meeting in July? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, 727, sponsor Benedict, will have its public hearing at the first meeting in July. Okay, next is Agenda Item 9, Ordinance BL 2025-741, sponsor Welsh. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from RS 7.5 to R6A zoning for property located at 412 McIver Street, approximately 270 feet east of Meade Avenue. This is 0.18 acres. Councilmember Welsh, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this bill, 741, please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this bill, please raise your hand? All right, seeing no one here in support or opposition, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you, Ms. Welsh, for a motion on your bill.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move to approve.
Is there a second? Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on Bill 741? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this has passed its second of 3 readings. Next is Agenda Item 10, Ordinance BL 2025-751, sponsor Coupon. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro Government, by amending a specific plan located at 1324 2nd Avenue North at the southeast corner of 2nd Avenue North and Taylor Street. This is zoned SP, and it is 4.82 acres. This is to adjust permitted square footage and height. Mr. Coupon, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to open the public hearing, please.
Okay. I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this bill please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this bill please raise your hand? All right, Mr. Coupon, seeing no one here in opposition or in support, I declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on your bill.
I'd like to move approval, please.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this bill? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, this has passed its second of 3 readings. Okay. Next are 2 bills that, again, are companions to each other. Agenda Item 11 and 12. These are ordinances BL 2025-752 and 753, both sponsor Lee. 752 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro Government of Nashville and Davidson County, by changing from AR2A to SP zoning for properties located at 5788 Cane Ridge Road and Cane Ridge Road unnumbered, approximately 285 feet southwest of Cane Ridge Road. This is 39.27 acres to permit 120 single-family lots. And then again, the companion 753, which requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings related to ordinance 752. Councilmember Lee, you are recognized.
Madam Vice Mayor, may I take both of these together?
You may, yes, ma'am.
I would like to move to substitute BL 2025.
Let's move to get them before us first, please, if you would.
Okay. I move to bring both of them forth.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Now you can make your motion, consolidated motion to substitute.
I would like to substitute BL 2025-752 and BL 2025-753.
Is there a second for that motion? Okay, colleagues, you may have seen in the past when we have companion bills, part has a sub, another doesn't. The subs are different. These substitutes are identical. Thus, we can take them in a consolidated motion. Is there any discussion on the motion to substitute both 752 and 753? Okay, seeing none, all in favor of the motion to substitute, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, so both of these subs are on your bills, and Ms. Lee, now I believe you want to make a consolidated motion for deferral.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. I move to defer the reading and the public hearing to July the 1st meeting and refer them to the Planning Commission.
Okay, there is a motion to defer the second reading and public hearing of these substituted bills to the first meeting in July with a referral. Ms. Lee, did you say to the Planning Commission or the committee?
Commission.
Commission, okay. Is there a second for that motion? Okay, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the deferral? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, agenda item 13, ordinance BL 2025-761, sponsor Coupon, is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by amending the uses table within Chapter 17.37 of the Downtown Code to remove automobile parking as a permitted use within the boundary of the 2nd Avenue Historic Preservation Overlay. Mr. Coupon, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Open the public hearing, please.
All right, I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this bill, please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this bill, please raise your hand? Okay. I see one person in opposition, and do you seek to be recognized to speak? Okay. All right. Go ahead and come forward, please, then. You are recognized. Yes, ma'am, to that public podium.
Hi, my name is Rebecca Cornell. I've lived downtown for the last 7 years, and the reason I am in opposition to this bill is because I don't think it is expansive enough. I think it should extend to the entire downtown corridor area. Any street side parking that is currently within that area was established prior to the days of Ubers and, all of our other scooters, everything else that happened to be around. As someone who's lived downtown as long as I have and watched it, I can tell you that you can't even move in a lane because somebody's got parking there and the city's making no money off of the parking. In addition to that, I would also encourage the council to think about actually setting up within the corridor a consistent way of doing all the pedestrian traffic crossing. Everybody gets to do the lovely little barn dance or whatever you call it. You're going to teach everybody that way. Traffic will move in the interest of transportation for the entire city and the growth of the city. I think that these would be good things for the council to consider. Thank you.
Mr. Coupon, typically if someone will identify themselves as being in support and then someone expresses opposition, then I invite those first persons in support to come forward to speak first for a balanced, and I did not do that. No one raised their hand to speak in support, but for purpose of balance, if there is someone who would like to speak in support, I would recognize them at this time. I see no one there. Okay, just wanted to make sure. And so I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on this bill.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move approval with a brief comment.
Properly second. Go ahead, sir.
Appreciate that feedback and that thought. This is something that I've continued to clarify with this bill. Even got asked about it today. This does not, well, I appreciate the consideration and questions about on-street parking. This does not impact on-street parking in any way. This is about use case on 2nd Avenue. As we know, a bomb had gone off there a number of years ago, and some of those buildings are still being rehabilitated. So this would just prevent any building being torn down and then left as a parking lot. So it takes that parking lot use away on private property. It has nothing to do with on-street parking. I'm happy for this individual or anybody else to reach out to me about what's going on downtown with parking. We're redoing a lot of pedestrianized signalization, a lot of really good things down there, but this particular bill only affects private property. And with that, I would like to move approval.
Okay, I appreciate that. Is there any further discussion on 761? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay. This has passed its second of 3 readings. Okay. Next is agenda item 14. This is ordinance BL 2025-780, sponsors Kimbrough, Ellis Webb, and Evan Siegel. This is an ordinance to amend Section 16.24.030 and 17.04.060 of the Metro Code of Laws to amend the definition of family. All right. Ms. Kimbrough, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move to withdraw.
Okay. You don't have to make that motion. You simply just state that you wish to withdraw the bill.
I wish to withdraw the bill.
Okay. This bill is withdrawn. Okay, moving on to agenda item 15 and its companion 16. First is ordinance BL 2025-787. This is sponsor Welsh, and again, its companion 788. 787 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro Government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS 7.5 to SP zoning for properties located at 516, 518, and 520 Veritas Street at the northwest corner of Veritas Street and Sandon Street. This is 0.52 acres to permit 20 multifamily residential units. Ms. Welsh, you are recognized. These can be taken together for purposes of public hearing.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open for ordinances 787 and 788. Would all members of the public here in support of these bills please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills please raise your hand? Okay. I'm seeing that folks are here in opposition, and as such, if there are persons here in support, they will please come forward. Persons in opposition will then speak after those that are speaking in support. Okay? So if you wish to speak in support, you can go, or rather in opposition, you can go ahead and come forward as well. All right. So speaking in support, sir, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm Roy Dale, 516 Heather Place, a member of the council. This zoning bill before the Planning Commission is it's a multifamily site. It's actually across the street from another multifamily site in an area of transition. Planning Commission supported this zoning. It provides housing that we desperately need, particularly in this area. And the council member has done a great job. She's a great council member. I greatly like working with her. And I would just hope that you would follow her lead on this development. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Do those folks who rose their hand in opposition seek to be recognized or to speak? Okay, they are shaking their head no. And so with that, Ms. Welsh, I will declare the public hearing closed.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move to approve with a brief comment.
Okay, there is a motion to approve both 787 and its companion 788. Properly seconded. Go ahead, Ms. Welsh.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This is an SP that the applicant worked very closely with planning on to put together something that addresses a real need in the neighborhood. And as the applicant said, it is across from another multi-family unit, and the design and everything flows together. So this is going to be a good addition to the neighborhood, and I would like to move to approve.
All right. Ms. Welsh has renewed her motion to approve 787 and 788. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, 787 and 788 have passed their second of 3 readings. All right, next are agenda items 17 and 18. Again, they are companions to each other and thus can be taken together for purposes of public hearing. The first is ordinance BL 2025-789, sponsor Gamble. Obviously, Ms. Gamble on 790 as well. 789 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro Government, by amending a specific plan for property located at 535 Boyd's Hilltop Drive, approximately 753 feet north of Old Hickory Boulevard. This is zoned SP and is 1.09 acres to permit non-residential uses only as accessory to the church located on the parcel. And then 790 is an ordinance that will require certain materials to be restricted at the same address in ordinance 789. Okay, Chair Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Open the public hearing, please.
All right, I declare the public hearing open for 789 and 790. Would all members of the public here in support of these bills, please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills, please raise your hand? Okay, seeing no one here in opposition, does the gentleman here in support seek to be recognized? He is shaking his head and his hand to say no. And so with that, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on your bills.
Thank you. Move for approval, please.
All right, Ms. Gamble has moved a consolidated motion of approval for 789 and 790. It is properly seconded, and is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, 789 and 790, agendas items 17 and 18 have passed their second of 3 total readings. All right, next, again, companion bills, agenda items 19 and 20. These are ordinance BL 2025-791, sponsor Webb, and 792, also sponsor Webb. I understand that Councilman Eastlick has signed on as a co-sponsor to assist with these bills. 791 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from R10 to SP zoning for properties located at 244 and 252 Liberty Lane. This is approximately 530 feet north of People's Court. It's 3.18 acres to permit 51 multifamily residential units. And again, it's companion 792, which requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings in Bill 791. Mr. Eastlick, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open for bills 791 and 792, sponsors Webb and Eastlick. Would all members of the public here in support of these bills please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills please raise your hand? All right, seeing no one here in opposition, do those in support seek to be recognized or to speak? They are shaking their head no, and so with that, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you, Mr. Eastlick, for a consolidated motion on these bills.
Please move those for approval.
Okay. All right, there's a proper motion for approval of 791 and 792, its companion, and I do see so it's properly moved and seconded. We're on to discussion. Councilwoman Benedict, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd just like to understand if Judge Wapner still lives on the People's Court.
All right, that's a little council humor. We'll have to ask Ms. Webb when she gets back, okay? We'll do that. All righty. Anyone else seeking to be recognized for discussion on this bill, not for a joke about People's Court? All right, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right. So both these bills have passed their second of 3 total readings. Okay, next, again, bills that are companions to each other. Agenda item 21, ordinance BL 2025-793, sponsor Welsh, and agenda item 22, ordinance BL 2025-794, also sponsor Welsh. And without objection, Ms. Welsh, we have agenda item 36, which is also a companion to these other two bills. And so without objection, we can pull 36 forward so that Ms. Welsh can address all three of these bills, which are effectively companions to each other at one time. Is there any objection to moving agenda item 36, BL 2025-808 forward with 793 and 794? Okay, seeing none, Ms. Welsh, you are recognized. Oh, pardon me. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to
Oh,
move.
and Ms. Welsh, I do apologize. I do have to read into the record. Is that correct? I did not read the captions yet. I was talking about consolidating them all. I have got to read the captions into the record, Ms. Welsh. I apologize, okay? So 793 is an ordinance to amend Title 17, the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro Government of Nashville and Davidson County by applying an urban design overlay to various properties located south of Thompson Lane, zoned RS 7.5, R8, RS 10, RS 5, R10, R8, R8A, R6A, RM 9ANS, RM 20, and RM 20ANS. This is 620.23 acres. 794 was an ordinance with all that same verbiage, but it required certain materials to be restricted in construction of the buildings related to 793. And again, as we discussed previously, agenda item 36, also sponsor Welsh, ordinance BL 2025-808, which was an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro Government of Nashville, by changing from RS 7.5, R8, RS 10, RS 5, R10, R8, R8A, R6A, RM9ANS, RM20, and RM20ANS zoning to RM20ANS and RM40ANS zoning for various properties located south of Thompson Lane. Again, this is 620.23 acres. Now, Ms. Welsh, it's back to you on all three of these bills. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to move to indefinitely defer with a brief comment.
Okay. There is a motion to indefinitely defer 793, 794, and 808. I believe I heard it properly seconded, and it's back to you for an explanation, Ms. Welsh. Go ahead.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. As I just mentioned, I will be indefinitely deferring these bills, but I would be remiss if I did not point out that the process that brought me here tonight has clearly shown that the priorities of the Planning Department are at odds with the broader community as embodied in the Community Plan Nashville Next. How their priorities are chosen is anyone's guess. The community plan clearly outlined what Nashvillians want, like walkability and affordability, yet planning continues to focus on things like the East Bank, where we have a blank canvas and can create whatever we imagine, yet have a design that includes a 6-lane road going through the middle of it. It's mind-boggling. My district has not grown in over 20 years since being downzoned in 2003, and without adequate housing, we are losing the people and places that make our district unique, and our zoning is at fault. 3 studies have come out recently that show what I'm trying to do in my district with this legislation, and how I'm trying to do it is what needs to be done in Nashville if we are to comprehensively address the housing crisis we face. It will allow new housing types and create more housing opportunities that are sorely needed for the residents of Nashville. And yet planning continually asked me to slow down, to wait, to stop until they could present their own housing proposals in June. My intent was always to defer third reading on my bills until after planning's housing and infrastructure study recommendations were put forth and adjust accordingly. But I was very clear with planning that I would not wait to start the process until June because planning has a history of not meeting deadlines and slow walking real reform. And I wasn't going to let my district's housing situation continue to be unaddressed. And nowhere was this more obvious than at the Planning Commission. The outcome of the Planning Commission hearing was quite obviously preordained. Rehearsed was the word that I heard most. Commissioners did not talk about the substance of my legislation or land use policy, which is the basis on which they are supposed to be making recommendations. They didn't even ask me a single question. Instead, they recommended disapproval because they didn't like the process. They looked me straight in the eye and said that planning should be leading rezonings like I am proposing, not me, and told me not to bring my legislation to council. But zoning is the exclusive purview of the legislative body, this council, and neither I nor my colleagues need to ask permission from or get the blessing of planning to move zoning in our districts. As the council, we should expect our departments to serve the people of Nashville. I know other council members have also had trouble working with the planning department, and regardless of what your issue has been with the planning department, I think we're all wondering what guides planning and what determines their priorities, because it's not Nashville Next. So what guidelines are they following? The planning department needs to have an accountable work agenda and update council on a regular basis about what they are doing now and what they expect to do in the future, as well as providing a comprehensive analysis of past efforts and their real-life results. We as a council need to know if what's being done actually is addressing our needs, and in many ways it has not. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So there is a motion to indefinitely defer 793, 794, and 808. We are on to discussion of that indefinite deferral motion. First for discussion is Planning and Zoning Chair Gamble. You are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. First, I want to thank our colleague, Councilmember Welch, for deferring this legislation indefinitely to allow more time for community discussion and to allow time for the housing and infrastructure study, which we voted on as a council, asked the planning department to do, to give us informed information on best ways to address zoning, to address our housing crisis in Nashville. So thank you for doing that. I was not present at the commission meeting 2 weeks ago. I was out of town and wasn't able to attend. However, I did watch the video, and it was a very comprehensive discussion that was had by the Planning Commission. The commissioners were very thoughtful in their discussion and did speak about how there is more density needed. In fact, the planning staff had put forth a substitute to Councilmember Welch's proposal that was more in line with what is coming out of the housing and infrastructure study. So I'm hopeful that Councilmember Welch and all council members will continue to work with this council body and continue to work with the planning department and other government, transportation, infrastructure, all of our departments, so that we have good, thoughtful, well-rounded legislation that benefits our city as a whole and benefits our communities, and I think we can get there working together. So I'm hopeful that after this, we can continue to work together to bring forth good, meaningful legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Mr. Prep-T, Chair Prep-T, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor, and I yield my time to Councilmember Welsh.
Okay. Go ahead, Ms. Welsh.
Thank you, Mr. Prep-T. Just to conclude my remarks, it has always been my plan and is my plan now to continue community engagement and education about my legislation. And it is continuing in my district, working with Neighbor to Neighbor and other neighborhood groups and individuals within the district. And my legislation will be back in some form because we need to tackle the housing crisis in my district. And we are going to do it with or without planning because we cannot afford not to. It's very important to understand. I respectfully disagree with my colleague about what actually happened at the Planning Commission in terms of how they dealt with this legislation. Again, not talking about the substance and not even talking about the substitute, which had the blessing of the planning staff. I don't feel as an applicant I was treated as other applicants are treated in the planning process, and I think that is also problematic as a council member since we are the ones responsible for zoning. So we need some fundamental changes, and I hope that we can get those fundamental changes as we move forward so that we can actually address the ongoing housing crisis that we have in this city and not be tepid and timid and incremental to the point that it is detrimental to all the citizens of Nashville. And with that, I renew my motion to indefinitely defer. Thank you.
All right. Is there any further discussion on the motion to indefinitely defer Bills 793, 794, and 808? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstentions? Okay. All those bills are indefinitely deferred. All right, next on our agenda is agenda item 23, ordinance BL 2025-795, sponsor Parker. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from RS5 to SP zoning for property located at 600 McFerrin Avenue at the corner of McFerrin Avenue and Marina Street. This is 0.21 acres and in the Maxwell House Neighborhood Conservation Overlay District and the Detached Accessory Dwelling Unit Overlay District to permit daycare home large use. Mr. Parker, Chair, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to open the public hearing.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this bill please raise your hand? Okay, would all members of the public here in opposition to this bill please raise your hand? All right, seeing no one here on either side, that was just a hello wave. I don't think that was opposition. Seeing no one on either side, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on your bill.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move for approval.
Is there a second? Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this ordinance, 795? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, 795 has passed its second of 3 readings. All right, next is agenda item 24. This is ordinance BL 2025-796, sponsor Gamble. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government of Nashville and Davidson County by changing from RS20 to CSANS zoning for property located at 107 East Campbell Road, approximately 635 feet west of Gallatin Pike. This is 0.26 acres. Chair Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to defer the public hearing due to lack of notice to the first meeting in July.
Okay, is there a second for that motion? Is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, the motion is to defer the second reading and public hearing for 796 to the first meeting in July. Seeing no one seeking a discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, that will be deferred to the first meeting in July. All right, next are agenda items 25 and 26. They are companions to each other, sponsor Toombs, ordinance BL 2025-797 and 798. 797 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by amending a portion of a specific plan on property located at 440 Tony Road to revise the layout and residential unit count for Block 3 to permit a maximum of 72 multifamily residential units and 10 single-family lots, and to rezone a portion of property located at 2412 Old Matthews Road to R8, approximately 150 feet south of Yoakley Road, zoned SP. This is 10.48 acres. And again, its companion 798 is an ordinance that would require certain materials at all the locations and area described in 797. Sponsor Toombs, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Request to open the public hearing.
All right. I declare the public hearing open on ordinances 797 and 798. Would all members of the public here in support of these bills please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills please raise your hand? All right, seeing no one here in support or opposition, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on your bills.
Move for approval.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Ms. Toombs has moved to approve 797 and its companion 798. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, 797 and 798 have both passed their second of 3 readings. Next is agenda item 27, sponsor Coupon. This is ordinance BL 2025-799, an ordinance amending Title 17.37 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, to update the downtown code's bonus height program and outdoor space general standards, and to make other minor housekeeping amendments. Mr. Coupin, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Open the public hearing, please.
Okay. I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of this bill please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this bill please raise your hand? Okay, seeing no one here in support or opposition, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you, Mr. Coupin, for a motion to get this bill before us.
I'd like to move approval, please.
Okay, properly moved and seconded. Back to you, sir.
I would like to move approval with a brief comment.
Okay, and then after your comment, will you perhaps be also moving to substitute?
I will be addressing the substitute.
Got it. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. A little bit of complicated maneuvering on this one, but we are going to approve it on second reading. There's some work left to be done on the substitute that is updating our bonus hike program for the downtown code. So wanted to clarify for the public why we're not moving it today, but we'll move it on third.
Right, and Title 17 is amendable on third.
Correct, thanks.
Okay, all right. So you have heard an explanation from sponsor Coupin about 799. There's a motion to approve, and it is properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, this has passed its second of 3 readings. Next are agenda items 28 and 29. They are companions to each other. Sponsor Rutherford. Agenda item 28 is ordinance BL 2025-800, and agenda item 29 is 801. Ordinance 800 is to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from AR2A to SP zoning for properties located at 5960 and 5966 Nolensville Pike at the current terminus of Foxview Drive. This is 8.09 acres. And again, the companion 801 is an ordinance that requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of the buildings referred to in Ordinance 800. Mr. Rutherford, Vice Chair of Planning, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Request to open the public hearing, please.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open for ordinances 800 and 801. Sponsor Rutherford. Would all members of the public here in support of these bills please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills please raise your hand? Okay. Seeing that there is someone here in opposition, does the gentleman here in support seek to be recognized? He is coming forward. Okay, so persons in support will speak first, and then persons in opposition will speak second. Go ahead, sir. You are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, members of the council. My name is Michael Garrigan. I'm a civil engineer with Dell & Associates, 516 Heather Place. We've started this project. I started working on it a little over a year ago. My clients owned the property for about 10 years and consistently been working to find a good use for the land. To orient you, immediately to the south is Lenox Village. North is Hunter's Branch, which is a single-family subdivision. So if you're familiar with Lenox Village, it's high density, 20 units per acre. So this has always been looked at as kind of a transitional lot. Perfect for a 10 to 12 unit per acre townhome development. Through several discussions and meetings with the neighborhood, that was the complete no-no. They did not want that whatsoever. That would, add to the traffic woes of Nolensville Pike during peak hour traffic times, and it would also necessitate a connection of a stub road from Lenox Village to the stub road of Hunter's Branch to the north, something that neither homeowners association wanted anything to do with. What we've landed on is an event center, a wedding venue. My client's vision is Sycamore Farms, but in the city. He has been to numerous weddings outside in the outskirts in other counties that have that rural feel, and this is a great piece of property that creates a rural feel in city limits. This project will retain 75% green space. This project creates walking trails. This project, most importantly, does not have those connections, and most importantly, will not have peak use during AM, PM peak times. There will not be residents coming and going to work. There will be events on the weekends and sometimes at night after the PM peak hour. We ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the woman here in opposition seek to be recognized? Go ahead and come forward. You are recognized.
My name is Lisa Rothman, and saying I'm in opposition, I don't want to be a negative Nancy. And
Ms. Rothman, would you pull that mic
Oh,
just
sorry.
a little bit closer
Okay.
to yourself? Thank
The
you.
program, the development, in fact, I spoke with Michael Garrigan, so he was very nice. We had a great conversation. I'm not a looky-loo. We actually own a condo that is right on the property line. So this event space is going to be just past the tree line of where our condo is. I did follow this through the Planning Commission, and it is a quiet community, and it is a residential community. I think there's over 1,100 maybe units, and it's townhomes, houses, and condos, and on the other side are homes. And I think my biggest question is, to date, I'm trusting that this is going to be a wedding venue. They're calling it an event space. It's about 32,000 square feet for commercial entertainment. So, my question has been the whole time, noise. And I'm just asking consideration from Councilmember Rutherford and also Michael Garrigan and the family planning this to realize that this is a family environment, and this is nice green space right now, but it's going to be, I don't know. I just don't know exactly what's going to happen here, and we have not seen an architectural rendering yet. So again, we're trusting, but I am concerned about big open doors and, things that slide open during events going on and possible noise. And during the Planning Commission, but right before they approved it, they said it could get noisy, but, it's just going to be on the weekends. And, I don't really think that's fair. That's where we live. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Seeing no one else seeking to be recognized, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you, Sponsor Rutherford, for a motion on your two bills that can be taken together. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Rutherford. I apologize. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to move approval on both with a brief comment.
Okay. There's a motion to approve ordinance BL 2025-800 and 801 in a consolidated motion. Is there a second? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. There was a considerable amount of community engagement that took place in regard to this property. One of the things that stands out to me is the level of support overall that it has, including from the Lenox Village HOA, which is the largest neighborhood and HOA in District 31. Probably the primary concern, if you will, is the one that was just raised to you in terms of noise. There are also some bars and restaurants along this same stretch, right there along Lenox Village, actually some that are in the front of Lenox Village. Everyone has to abide by the same noise ordinance, and this facility is no different than that. So that is something that I myself will be very mindful of. I live very close to this as well, not far behind the property. And so I think there's certainly no reason not to go forward. It has a significant amount of support. One of the things I found most interesting about this process, as the developer mentioned, when a townhome community was suggested, that was just immediately shot down by essentially everybody. So the folks who are generally opposed to new housing in the area are supportive of this plan because it's not new housing. Now, I'm not taking away from the housing issue. We need new housing, obviously, but it's just interesting to look at who is supportive of this in terms of it's the folks that are usually in opposition to development. So just wanted to point that out. It's just, if nothing else, is a curiosity. But again, I renew my motion for approval of both these items. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sponsor Rutherford. Is there any further discussion on the motion to approve on second of three readings, ordinance 800 and its companion 801? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, speaking of noise, somebody in the chamber has their phone on and it sounds like a Twitter tweet every time a text comes in. And so if everybody would please silence their phones. Okay. Thank you. Next is agenda items 30 and 31, ordinances BL 2025-802 and 803. They are companions to each other. Sponsor Benedict. Ordinance 802 amends Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from R10 to SP zoning for properties located at 209 and 211 Walton Lane, approximately 242 feet east of Walton Oak Drive. This is 0.74 acres to permit 8 multifamily residential units. And again, 803, its companion, which requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings in Ordinance 802. All right, Ms. Benedict, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I promise I was not whistling while I was working. That definitely was not me. And I brought my sense of humor tonight. I would like to open the public hearing, please.
I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of 802 and 803 sponsor Benedict, please raise your hand? Thank you. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills, please raise your hand? Okay. The gentleman, seeing that there are folks here in opposition, may wish to speak. Those in support will speak first. Those in opposition, if you wish to speak, you may go ahead and come forward. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. Michael Garrigan, Dell & Associates, 516 Heather Place. This project is similar to a couple others that I have brought before you recently in that it is currently two-family lots, so it is currently permitted for 4 homes. It is immediately adjacent to a townhome project on the east, single-family on the west. Similar to the other two that I referenced, very early on, the discussion was had of do we build what Nashville's seeing a tremendous amount of, which is 4 3,500 to 4,000 square foot homes that sell for $800,000 minimum and sell quickly? Or do we look at this and look into the zone change process to minimize the size of the homes, increase the density, thus creating attainable housing, creating housing for the missing middle, the firemen, the police officers, the teachers? That's what we're doing here. One thing that has historically been lost in translation through SPs is we upzone a piece of property and the footprints get smaller, but nothing happens with the height. And so what you end up with is instead of 4 3,500 to 4,000 square foot $1 million houses is you end up with 8 3-story, 3,000 square foot houses. What we're doing through this SP as well as our others, we're limiting the height to 2 stories to essentially, put into concrete as much as you can that this house will not be over 1,600 to 1,800 square feet. And then the market's just going to take a square foot price. That's what's going to set that attainable price point. That's what's going to create the housing. We ask for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. To those folks who raised their hand in opposition, go ahead. If you are seeking to speak, please come forward. You are recognized. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. I actually had some questions and concerns about the comments that the gentleman just made. To the left of this lot is actually an old apartment complex that I don't see any plans for them to rejuvenate. There's several sex offenders that are registered and live in that property. I am the homeowner to the right of this lot. So I am that single family home to the right. And if I could sell my house for $800,000 today, I probably wouldn't be here, truthfully. But my concerns was going to be about the height of the properties being built to the left of my house. They'll be able to directly see in my backyard, in my back windows, and eventually I'd like to turn that property into a rental. So it does, I think, cause some concerns for myself and just the neighborhood. I understand the need for housing and those things, but I guess my concern would be what folks is this area going to be able to be sold to? Again, could it be sex offenders like in the lot next to my house able to peek into my backyard? So I guess that's kind of my question, concern, and that is why I'm in opposition of this 8 multi-level townhome being built next to my property. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, come on forward. You're recognized.
My name is Faye Denson, and I have lived in the area for 15 years. And the property that the gentleman was speaking about is directly behind my house. I'm not completely in opposition of it. It's just the fact that it's going to be 8 family homes. I can understand maybe like 4 family homes. And some of the property that he's discussing is on my property. And the area that I live in is very quiet. Like I said, I've been living there for 15 years. And the gentleman stated that the houses are going to be small. They might be a little bit tall. But as my neighbor was saying, they can look in our property. And like, I'm not completely against it, but it will also increase traffic and it'll become congested for us to come in and out. And right now, we do have an area that we exit from and it's very congested.
All right, thank you so much. Seeing no one else seeking to be recognized, I will declare the public hearing closed. And it's back to you, Ms. Benedict, for a motion on these bills.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to move approval with an explanation.
Okay. Ms. Benedict has moved approval in a consolidated motion of 802 and its companion 803. Is there a second? Okay, back to you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I really appreciate everybody coming out tonight and hearing that feedback. We had this on the agenda at my town hall last month, and so it's great to hear from folks that I haven't heard from before. This is the type of project, in my opinion, that we really need to be doing throughout the city. It's especially in this area where homes are smaller and historical. And by historical, I mean they've been there, you know, this area was built up between the 1950s and 1980s. So homes during that era, the demand was for homes around 1,000 to 1,600 square feet. And I think that this fits nicely with that today. As was said earlier, most properties now, the land is so valuable that large homes are being built. This provides us the opportunity through an SP to provide only 2 stories by right. 3 stories could be built on this lot. So we are able to restrict that height, even though it is taller than the single-story homes nearby. We are, it includes a setback that is, mimics the property right next to it. So it is set back from there. It includes pervious pavers, and so it's going to manage stormwater well. And so with that, I would ask for my colleagues' support and renew my motion. Thank you.
All right. You've heard an explanation of the sponsor on 802 and 803. There's a motion to approve properly seconded. Is there anyone else seeking discussion? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Is that a no or an abstention? Okay. That's will be so recorded. Okay, so this is its second of 3 readings for 802 and 803, and they have passed. Next is agenda item 32, ordinance BL 2025-804, sponsors Webb and Eastlick. 804 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by canceling a portion of the planned unit development on portions of properties located at 1000 Rivergate Parkway and Rivergate Parkway unnumbered, approximately 760 feet west of Conference Drive. This is zoned SCR. It is 15.22 acres and within a planned unit development overlay district. Mr. Eastlick, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I ask to open the public hearing.
Okay. I declare the public hearing open on ordinance 804, sponsors Webb and Eastlick. Would all members of the public here in support of this bill please raise your hand? Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this bill please raise your hand? Seeing no one here in opposition, does anyone here in support seek to be recognized or speak? They are all shaking their heads no. And so with that, I will declare the public hearing closed. And it's back to you, Mr. Eastlick, for a motion on the bill.
Thank you. I'd like to move forward with a brief comment. I know Jennifer.
A motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I know Jennifer has worked hard on this as well as a lot of other people. There's a lot of excitement behind this, and I think Nashville's going to be excited when they see the plan and it rolls out and is actually available for everybody to take part in.
Thank you, Mr. Eastlick.
Thank you.
I'm sure Ms. Webb appreciates your assistance this evening. Is there any further discussion on this bill? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? All right, this has passed its second of 3 readings. Next are agenda items 33 and 34. They are companions to each other. Again, sponsor Webb and Eastlick. The first is ordinance BL 2025-805, and the next is 806. 805 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from SCR to SP zoning for portions of properties located at 1000 Rivergate Parkway and Rivergate Parkway unnumbered, approximately 760 feet west of Conference Drive. This is 15.22 acres, and maybe we should have taken all 3 of these together. And located within a planned unit development overlay district to permit a mixed-use development, all of which is described herein. And again, its companion 806, which requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of the buildings, as mentioned in ordinance 805. All right, it is back to you again, Mr. Eastlick.
Well, let's do the public hearing again.
Okay. I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of these bills please raise your hands? I see y'all again. Okay. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills please raise your hands? Seeing no one here in opposition, do those folks here in support seek to be recognized or speak? They are shaking their head no. And so with that, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you for a motion on these bills.
Thank you. Please move forward for approval.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay, so Mr. Eastlick has moved approval of 805 and 806 in a consolidated motion. Is there any discussion on the motion to approve 805 and 806? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, 805 and 806 have passed their second of 3 readings. Next is agenda item 35, sponsor Vo. This is ordinance BL 2025-807. An ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from IWD to MULANS zoning for property located at 1245 Lewis Street, approximately 29 feet east of Thomas Street. This is 0.11 acres. Councilmember Vo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I move to open the public hearing.
Okay. I declare the public hearing open. Would all members of the public here in support of 807 by sponsor Vo please raise their hand? Thank you, sir. Would all members of the public here in opposition to this bill please raise your hand? Seeing no one here in opposition, does the gentleman in support seek to be recognized? He is shaking his head no, Ms. Vo. And so with that, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it is back to you for a motion on your bill.
I move to approve.
Okay. There's a motion to approve. Is there a second? Okay. Properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on 807? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, 807 has passed its second of 3 readings. Okay, let's see. Next, we have, we're going to skip over 36 because that was in an earlier consolidated motion, and we're going to go straight on to agenda items 37 and 38. These are our last items on a public hearing. They are, again, companions to each other. Sponsor Toombs. The first is ordinance BL 2025-809. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government, by changing from IWD to RS 7.5, or from, rather, to SP zoning for various properties along Dickerson Pike, Lemuel Road, Jones Street, and Locust Street, approximately 340 3 feet south of Kenneth Drive. This is 106.9 acres to permit a mixed-use development. And again, it's companion 810. This ordinance requires certain materials to be restricted in the construction of buildings at the locations in Ordinance 809. Ms. Toombs, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Request to open the public hearing.
All right. I declare the public hearing open on ordinances 809 and 810, sponsored Toombs. Would all members of the public here in support of these bills please raise your hands? Thank you. Would all members of the public here in opposition to these bills please raise your hand? Okay. Seeing that there are folks here in opposition, do those among you in support seek to be recognized or speak? Those in support will speak first, and those in opposition will speak after. Go ahead, sir. You're recognized.
Good evening. Jeff Hines with Catalyst Design Group, 5100 Tennessee Avenue. We have had multiple public informational meetings on this, and actually with the individuals that raised their hands to speak in opposition, we're currently having conversations with them, and I was thinking we were on good terms. So we'll find out. But this is a proposal that really takes advantage of a lot of the investments that Metro is currently making in the Dickerson Pike corridor. There are not many properties where you find 107 acres within 2 miles of downtown, wherein infill development, and it's primarily residential, of multiple price points that support a varied array of housing options for residents. None of this is for lease. It's all for sale. Being developed by Ryan Homes. So from that standpoint, this is a needed item within the Nashville community. With regard to what I think we're going to hear, the individuals that will speak own a business close by that does rehearsal acts, and they're concerned about the noise level. We're currently in the process of having monitoring devices. There's a meeting, I think, tomorrow with my client and that individual to listen in, have monitor sensors put in place, and we're committed to working through that. So that's the statement we provided to them as well. So with that having been said, we would appreciate your support. We think it's a great project.
All right. Do those folks also there seek to be recognized in support? Okay. Those folks in opposition who would like to speak, please come forward. Go ahead.
Good evening.
You're recognized.
All right. Good evening. I'm Travis Walker. I'm the vice president of the Steel Mill and Moo TV. We share common ownership. We occupy the warehouse at 10 Quality Way, adjacent to the Lemuel Road development. The steel mill, half of the building, operates a full audiovisual production rehearsal facility, as seen in this photo I'm holding up. We have many acts come through, like Chris Stapleton, Dierks Bentley, Jason Mraz, Miranda Lambert, Wu-Tang Clan, and they set up their full production tours for weeks at a time before they take their shows on the road. The building has been operated as a rehearsal facility for at least 15 years. We've become a necessary part of the music business, and many artists rely on our space to launch successful tours. Since we have artists hanging speaker systems in the steel mill, the music from the room is sometimes audible outside of our walls. The residential areas around us are far enough from our property, so we haven't been in violation of Metro Code 920.10, which talks about sound amplification equipment being audible in residentially occupied properties. We are currently zoned industrial warehouse, and here is a photo where all the trees are of where the Lemuel project will be coming in. As you can see, is right next to our building. With the Lemuel project coming into our doorstep, we'll be in violation of Metro Code on day one without some sort of contingency plan put in place to prevent disruption of our business. We're currently in talks with Ryan Homes, like they said, which has been very good. We just want to make sure that some safeguards are put in place to protect our business and the homes that are going in. We want this project to succeed for Nashville and get the housing it desperately needs, but we understand that our business must also continue to be considered as part of the equation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead, you're recognized.
Hey, I'm Scott Scobey. I own the property and the companies, and I also am for the housing development. I think it's great for property values. I think it's great for the city. That said, I think if it were to go in exactly as it's currently planned, and we are in discussions with them, it would be bad down the road for several, for the homeowners, for Ryan Homes, potentially Metro, and certainly us. I propose that we try and get an easement. So if you were to move in next to a Ascend Amphitheater or a downtown bar, you would recognize that there's going to be some noise there, right? So something that just says like, hey, you're moving in by a place that's going to make some noise. And mind you, we don't make anywhere near as much noise as Ascend Amphitheater or even a downtown bar, but we do make noise. And two, I would propose that there is some green space. If you look at Ryan Homes' plans, there's a bunch of green space by the highway because they knew it made noise. They didn't know we make noise. Now they do. And I think we're making adjustments, but let's make sure we put some space between us and those homes and maybe even a sound wall like you see on the side of a highway so we can continue to do what we've been doing in town. And we don't have disgruntled homeowners and we don't have police responding to noise complaints. So I am for this. And just if I can say to blow our horn, we've been really proud to be a part of the music community here. We've been voted best in the industry internationally 11 of the past 15 years of what we do. We're a big part of the fabric of the music community here in this town, and we help make this town Music City. We want to keep doing that, and we want to do that in a way that we also welcome all the growth that's coming in. We are all for that growth. Could we do it in this way so that our business is protected, we can still be a part of Music City, and people can have their homes and everyone can be happy? Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir, you're recognized.
Good evening. My name is Dane Geyer. I'm an attorney at Baker Donaldson, 1600 West End Avenue, and I represent the steel mill. My clients explained the circumstances here, and we're lucky enough to have the opportunity to cure a future problem now. The fact that it will be a problem, there is no question. The picture gave you some sense of the scale, but to put it in more certain terms, the property, the steel mill, is basically from here to that wall. That is where a residence will be built. So there will be issues, and the developer here, Ryan Homes, has been incredibly gracious. They are performing sound testing, but that sound testing won't be able to catch the steel mill at its kind of peak operational capacity until June. So what we're asking for is just some time. There's several solutions that could probably work here. Open space, sound buffer, noise easement, maybe a combination of all three. What we're asking is some time to get the results in. Let us bring those results to Metro Council so the Metro Council can make a fully informed decision based on the best data and in the best interest of all those concerned. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Seeing no one else seeking to be recognized, I will declare the public hearing closed, and it's back to you, Councilmember Toombs.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move for approval with a brief comment.
All right, and I presume you are moving approval on 809 and 810 together. Yes, ma'am. Is there a second? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. So as district council person, I always try to weigh the concerns of my business constituents as well as my residential constituents. I've had the opportunity to tour the steel mill. It is an amazing facility that has been around for a while, and it is my full intention that it continues to be around. So I've already reached out to the development team with Ryan Homes to try to work out a solution, because I understand that they don't want down the line to get noise complaints and have that negatively impact their business. And it's important to me as well for them to stick around and also to have this development, which is going to bring some much needed housing to Nashville and along one of our major corridors. This is off of Dickerson Pike. So I am working on it. I know Scott and his crew maybe don't know that there's a third reading for zoning bills. So this is just second reading. There's another reading. So there's still some opportunity to have additional conversations and for the Ryan Holmes Group to continue to do their testing to measure the impact that the steel mill will have on future residents. So with that, I renew my motion.
All right, there is a motion to approve 809 and 810 on their second of three readings, and on third reading, bills in Title 17 are amendable at that time. Is there any further discussion on these two bills? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, 809 and its companion 810 have passed their second of three readings, and that concludes all items on public hearing. Okay, so next we're moving on to Section J of our agenda. This is our consolidated consent agenda. All resolutions and second and third reading ordinances on this agenda are included on the consent agenda if recommended for approval unanimously by all committees to which the item was referred. Items on the consent agenda will be voted on at a single time. The item number, along with the resolution and the ordinance number of the items on the consent agenda, will be read by me, and members of the council may remove any item from the consent agenda by request before the consent agenda vote is taken. Okay? All right. So the first item proposed for consent among our resolutions is agenda item 43. This is resolution 2025-1178. Agenda item 44, resolution 2025-1179. Agenda item 45, resolution 2025-1180. Agenda item 46, resolution 2025-1181. Agenda item 47, resolution 2025-1182. Agenda item 48, resolution 2025-1183. Agenda item 49, resolution 2025-1184. Agenda item 50, resolution 2025-1185. Agenda item 51, resolution 2025-1186. Agenda item 54, resolution 2025-1189. Agenda item 55, resolution 2025-1190. Agenda item 57, resolution 2025-1192. Agenda item 58, resolution 2025-1193. Agenda item 59, resolution 2025-1194. Agenda item 60, resolution 2025-1195. Agenda item 61, resolution 2025-1196. Agenda item 62, resolution 2025-1197. Agenda item 64, resolution 2025-1199. Agenda item 65, resolution 2025-1200. Agenda item 66, resolution 2025-1201. Agenda item 67, resolution 2025-1202. Agenda item 68, resolution 2025-1203. Agenda item 69, resolution 2025-1204. Agenda item 70, resolution 2025-1205. Agenda item 71, resolution 2025-1206. Agenda item 72, resolution 2025-1207. Agenda item 73, resolution 2025-1208. Agenda item 75, resolution 2025-1210. Agenda item 76, resolution 2025-1211. Agenda item 77, resolution 2025-1212. Agenda item 78, resolution 2025-1213. Agenda item 79, resolution 2025-1214. Agenda item 80, resolution 2025-1215. Agenda item 81, resolution 2025-1216. Agenda item 82, resolution 2025-1217. Okay. Now, bills on second reading proposed for the consent agenda. First among those is agenda item 98. Ordinance BL 2025-783. Agenda item 99, ordinance BL 2025-784. Agenda item 102, ordinance BL 2025-813. Agenda item 103, ordinance BL 2025-814. Agenda item 104, ordinance BL 2025-815. Agenda item 105, ordinance BL 2025-816. Agenda item 106, ordinance BL 2025-817. And now bills on third reading that are proposed for the consent agenda. First among those is agenda item 107, ordinance BL 2025-739. Agenda item 108, ordinance BL 2025-740. Agenda item 110, ordinance BL 2025-770. Agenda item 111, ordinance BL 2025-771. Agenda item 112, ordinance BL 2025-781. Agenda item 113, ordinance BL 2025-782. Agenda item 114, ordinance BL 2025-785. And the last item proposed for the consolidated consent agenda, agenda item 115, ordinance BL 2025-786. Okay, council members, do any items need to be removed from the consent agenda? If so, if members would please join the queue to request that. Okay. Mr. Huffman, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Item 77.
Okay. Mr. Huffman has requested that agenda item 77, which is RS 2025-1212, regarding the life of Delta Ray Fry, be removed from consent. Okay. Mr. Coopin, you are recognized. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to remove item 81, RS 2025-1216, please.
Okay, Mr. Coopin has requested the removal of agenda item 81, and it has been removed. Ms. Benedict, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'd like to pull item 82, RS 2025-1217, please.
Okay, Ms. Benedict has requested the removal of agenda item 82. It has been removed from consent. Ms. Gadd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to remove agenda item number 76, RS 2025-1211.
Okay, Ms. Gadd has requested the removal of agenda item 76. It will be removed from consent. That's resolution 1211. Mr. Cortez, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. May we remove item 78?
Okay, Mr. Cortez has requested the removal of agenda item 78. This is resolution 1213 regarding the life of Pope Francis. It will be removed from consent. Ms. Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Councilmember Cortez removed one of mine of the 1213, but also I'd like to remove 79. RS 2025-1214, please.
Okay, Ms. Gamble has requested the removal of agenda item 79. It will be removed from consent. And next, Ms. Welsh, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Was item 108 on consent?
Agenda item 108?
Yes, thank you.
Hang on, let me double check. Yes, ma'am, it was.
Could I remove that, please?
Okay. Are you aware that it is a companion bill to?
Then 107 also. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So Ms. Welsh has requested the removal of agenda items 107 and 108. These are ordinances 739 and 740. Sponsor Hancock. Okay, those will be removed from consent. Ms. Stiles, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Forgive me, I'm blanking on the agenda item, but it's 1206.
Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can figure that out. Is it a resolution? Okay. This is agenda item 71, resolution 1206. You're requesting removal from consent. It will be removed from consent. Okay. That's a really long list. Are any other members seeking to be recognized to remove an item from the consolidated consent agenda? Just a little birthday joke there. Okay. All righty. Okay. Mr. Clerk, are all committee reports in for items on the consent agenda?
Yes, all committee reports are in.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Okey dokes. With all committee reports in, is there a motion for approval of the consent agenda? Okay, properly moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye. Any noes or abstentions? Okay, council has passed all items on the consent agenda. And now we will go back through in agenda order for items, first, resolutions that were not on consent. Okay, first among those is Agenda Item 39, Resolution 2025-960, sponsors Allen, Swara, Vo, Benedict, and Coupin. This is a resolution approving an adjustment to the Mixed Income Pilot Program as authorized pursuant to Ordinance Number BL 2022-1170 program. Ms. Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to defer one meeting with a brief explanation.
Okay, would you like to get your committee reports?
And I would like to get my committee reports,
Okay.
please.
Budget and Finance Chair Porterfield on 960 regarding the mixed income pilot. Go ahead.
Thank you. Budget and Finance voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for a 1 meeting deferral.
Okay. All right, and so that is a deferral by rule, Ms. Allen, and that's a 1 meeting deferral, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Do I get to give my brief explanation?
Oh, I apologize. What do we?
Or not?
Yeah, it's an automatic deferral without debate or discussion.
Okay.
Okay, I
We'll
apologize.
explain it at the next
All right.
meeting. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Next is Agenda Item 40. This is Resolution 2025-1142. Sponsors Coupin, Porterfield, and Gamble. This is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the East Bank Development Authority. Mr. Coupin, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move approval.
Let's see, you need to get your committee reports
I would like
first,
my
sir.
committee reports first, please.
Okay. Budget and Finance Chair Porterfield, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Budget and Finance voted on RS 2025-1142, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting on the amendment, and 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting on the resolution as amended.
Okay. And for the report of the Planning and Zoning Committee, Chair Gamble, you're recognized. This is on 1142 regarding the East Bank Development Authority Agreement. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yep.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning recommended approval of the amendment, 12 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting, and recommended approval of the bill as amended, 12 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. Thank you so much. All right. It's back to you, Mr. Coupin, for a motion on your bill.
Thank you, Madam President. Now I'd like to move approval, please.
Okay. Is there a second? All right. It's properly before us. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to move the amendment.
All right. Properly moved and seconded. Any description on the amendment?
So I appreciate Councilman Evan Siegel, who brought this up in the East Bank Committee. This will put a deadline on the audit process as stipulated in the IGA. And so appreciate my colleagues' support on the amendment and on the bill itself.
Okay. There is a motion to amend. It is properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the amendment, the motion to amend? Seeing none, all in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? All right, back to you for a motion to approve as amended.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move as amended, please.
All right, is there a second? Okay, properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the resolution as amended? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution as amended. All right. Next is Agenda Item 41, Resolution 2025-1167. Sponsors Druffel, Allen, Lee, Cash, Gamble, Swara, Horton, and Ewing. This is a resolution requesting the Metropolitan Department of Water and Sewerage Services make revisions to the Stormwater Management Manual to address stormwater drainage across Nashville and Davidson County by updating the infill tree credit and including multifamily structures as residential infill. This has a mandatory deferral by Rule 8.1. Okay, but last time I didn't need the committee report? It wasn't Rule 8.1, it was that Rule 43. Okay, now I get it. All right, Mr. Druffel, you are recognized for your committee report, sir.
Committee reports, please.
Okay, for the report of Transportation Infrastructure, Chair Parker, please.
Transportation and Infrastructure recommended a one meeting deferral, 10 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
Okay, and it's back to you, Mr. Druffel, for a motion.
Make a motion to defer one meeting with brief comment.
It's
automatic.
sorry, we're a bit of a mess. It is deferred by rule, sir. There is no
I
comment.
thought so, but I just thought to check.
Yep,
Thank you.
Yep, got it. All right, I'll get it right the next time, colleagues. Okay, all righty. So next is agenda item 42, resolution 2025-1177, sponsor Prep T. This is a resolution approving the election of certain notaries public for Davidson County. Mr. Prep T, you're recognized. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor.
You're
Move
welcome.
approval.
This is 1177 about notaries public. I just need a committee report from you because it was not on consent.
Oh, yes, the committee voted 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. And with that, I move
Okay.
approval.
Thank you, sir. Move approval. As I understand it, we are going to have, need to have an abstention, and we can do that just by hand. Is that correct, Ms. Darby? Okay. All righty. There's a motion to approve. It's properly seconded. Is there any discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstentions? Okay. Mr. Benton is abstaining. Thank you, Chair. Mr. Benton, you will be recorded as an abstention. All right. Next is agenda item 52. This is resolution 2025-1187, sponsors Hill and Gamble. This is a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the United States of America to enter certain property located at 1414 County Hospital Road, owned by the Metropolitan Government for limited military training purposes. Ms. Darby, can we take that with agenda item 53? Because it's the same address. Okay, Special Counsel Darby is advising that we do have to take these separately. Okay, so 1187, and so Ms. Hill, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We heard in GovOps, ordinance 2025-1187, and we failed to make a recommendation. 4 in favor, 4 against, and 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. And I assume you want to request the rest of these committee reports here. And second among those is the report of Planning and Zoning. Chair Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Planning and Zoning recommended approval, 7 in favor, 1 against, 2 not voting.
Okay, all right. Okay, we've got our committee reports in, and Ms. Hill, you are, just by virtue of your chairmanship, the sponsor for this bill. So I need you to make a motion on this bill, please.
I make a motion to move for approval.
Okay, is there motion to approve properly seconded? Is there any discussion on this bill? All right, seeing some, I will go in order. Ms. Kimbrough, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I am asking that this resolution be deferred 1 meeting. I asked that in committee. I understand that the effect of that, based on information we received during the meeting, is that this is scheduled for May 18th, May 19th, and that we would not have a meeting before that. So in effect, that would kill it, which I don't mind, because this is happening in Bordeaux. I've been here before, and I have respectfully requested that the elderly residents of Bordeaux, and I say that because, and I don't mean just the elderly, I'm just saying it's an elderly community, they receive some type of notice from Metro that they're about to do this military drill in the area. At one point, people were terrified. They were all over social media wondering what was going on. Nobody knew that they were doing military drills. At the last time they decided to do these military drills, I did an amendment asking that Metro send out notices. They would know that this military drill was about to occur. And Metro said that they would. Well, we agreed that Metro would do that. In essence, what happened, in actuality, what happened was there were no notices given from Metro. Now, we may have failed to specify which department would send out those notices, but no notices were given. Would you like for me to wait? Okay, all right. I didn't know.
I am listening, Ms. Kimbrough. I apologize. I'm just trying to kind of plan ahead. I mean, no disrespect. I'm just trying to see procedurally what's going to happen next, conferring with Ms. Darby. Go ahead, please.
All right. So no notices were given according to the president of that community group and others. They did not receive notices by mail. So when this came back up again, I asked for a deferral so that they could be properly notified. Now, if they're bringing this in such short time that we cannot have a deferral, that's not on me, that we don't have the time to send these notices out. But I'm asking for a deferral on this. It is serious for the residents there. I think this is not asking anything that's unusual or unfair. I just need time to determine which Metro agency will send these notices out.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Kimbrough. Colleagues, per Rule 9.2, though not presently listed as a sponsor, this activity transpires or is within Councilmember Kimbrough's district. And so by rule, she can request a one meeting deferral. It does not require a second. Okay, Ms. Darby, since this is sort of new for the body, would you please speak to that? Go ahead, you're recognized.
Because the activity takes place in one district and the district council member is not a sponsor or co-sponsor of the bill, then upon request, the resolution shall be deferred for one meeting upon request for a one meeting deferral.
Okay, no clapping, y'all. Okay, so per the rule, shall be deferred. It was requested by Ms. Kimbrough. So Resolution 2025-1187 is deferred to the second meeting in May. Yes, sir. Mr. Rutherford, please stand for a point of order, sir. Yep.
I'd like a little further explanation on this and why the council body as a whole does not get a say in whether or not this is deferred, because deferral of this item is essentially killing this item. And so we should have a say in that.
Special Counsel Darby, you brought this to my attention, so I'm going to recognize you to further explain it. Thank you, please.
I can read to you from the rule if you'd like. I can just read it out. Okay.
Yes, if you would, read it in full.
Certainly. Any resolution or proposed ordinance on first reading, the subject matter of which affects only one district, shall upon request be deferred one meeting if the member from the district concerned with the subject matter of such legislation has not introduced or co-sponsored the legislation. It's a council rule of procedure.
Mr. Rutherford, is that sufficient to address your point of order?
It does not, but I don't know that I can do much about it.
Okay. Ms. Hancock, do you have a point of order? If you'd remember, please, to stand for it. Go ahead. You are recognized.
Does this affect just one district?
Would you speak into your mic, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. That would work. Does this affect just one district, or because it's the United States of America as listed there, although really the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, wouldn't it affect everyone that is served by those individuals?
I can put that to you, Special Counsel Darby. There is a property located at 1414 County Hospital Road. So I don't think it is as to affect, but affect is, I will just let Special Counsel Darby respond. Ms. Ellis, please.
The agreement is related solely to activities taking place at 1414 County Hospital Road, which is located in District 1.
You're recognized, Ms. Hancock, for
So
clarification.
the agreement isn't anything to do with the activities, it's only to do with location?
The activities are to be located at 1414 County Hospital Road.
So
it's within, it affects that district, it is within that
So we're only voting on location, we're not voting on activities that happen at locations, is that correct?
Ms. Darby.
It is, I don't think that you can separate the two things. All of the activities are happening at that location. They're not happening elsewhere in the county.
Thank you.
Okay. Did somebody else say point of order? Okay, when you request a point of order, please, members, stand, especially, everybody must stand. Yes, sir, you're recognized for a point of order.
I contend that this is not accurate because this involves multiple districts because the activity involves aircraft which will fly over multiple districts. So it is not just one district, it is multiple districts and is related to essentially the entire city as a result.
Mr. Rutherford, the caption of the bill says this is approving a license agreement between the Metro government and the United States of America to enter the certain property located at 1414 County Hospital Road that is owned by the Metro government for limited military training purposes. Just to reread that. Okay. I am going to follow the recommendation of Special Counsel Darby regarding her interpretation of Rule 9.2. Ms. Kimbrough being the District Council member for 1414 County Hospital Road and having requested the one meeting deferral. Okay? Again, it is deferred to the second meeting in May. Next, on the same topic, is agenda item 50. Yeah, is it a point of order, sir? Or point of inquiry?
I would like to challenge the ruling of the chair.
Okay. Ms. Darby? Okay, wait a minute. Okay. So Councilman Rutherford has requested or has challenged the ruling of the chair, and that is fine. But I don't believe a point of order supersedes. We have to address this first. Okay, so thank you, Ms. Porterfield, but we've got to kind of dispose of and address this challenge. It's a first, so just give us a minute to figure out how we're going to proceed with this. Pause a moment. It's a fun night, y'all. We're dipping into Robert's rules. Okay, stick with us. If y'all could kindly keep it quiet while we confer about this, please, that'll be helpful to us deciding what we are required to do next by rule, okay? Thank you for your patience.
Yes, if it pulls it, kills it. Well, it's supposed to start on the, it's supposed to start on the 19th. They always do because it's the military and they don't want, but ICE, got a press conference from the mayor, and so then they, retaliate by coming back again. They're here even harder. And they got here at 2. They're still bananas. And like to do this, what do you think the federal government's going to do about that? They're just going to make some sort of rule. They're going to come and respond. Oh yeah, they're not. Oh, Hannah's laughing. She's like, oh, this is fun. Yeah. Yeah, they can just reappropriate Metro property and say it's theirs now. What is it called? We're in dire straits. Probably sees on Facebook.
All right. Okay. There is a motion to appeal the ruling of the chair that has been made by Councilman Rutherford. That motion requires a second. Is there a second? Okay, it is properly seconded, okay? So the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair is a debatable motion, okay? And so at this juncture, we will discuss the ruling of the chair, which was that Rule 9.2 applies. Okay, this is a rule that has been in effect for all of this term, all of preceding term. If you have heard Ms. Darby read you the rule in her application with which I concurred, okay? And that was because this property is located in Ms. Kimbrough's district. I made the ruling that this would be deferred to the second meeting in May. There's a motion to appeal. It is properly seconded. And so we are now on to discussion. I would ask, are folks in the queue on the original bill or on the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair? Yes, Ms. Ellis, you're recognized for a point of order.
Valid point of order, Madam President. Who all is allowed to participate in this?
Y'all all are.
So not just.
It's not like a motion to table. Like, I'm not going to debate Mr. Rutherford about this.
I'm still learning the rules, so bear with me.
You will fight. No. Okay. So we will all, you will all discuss whether you concur or don't with the ruling of the chair. Now, when debate has concluded, you will vote aye or yes on the motion if you concur with the chair, the president's ruling, and you will vote no. Is that correct, Ms. Darby? If you disagree with the ruling of the chair. Okay. All right. Rules Chair Prep T, are you seeking to be recognized, sir? Okay. All righty. All right, so we are on to debate on the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair. I'm just following the cue, though I think it might be related to the previous bill, but maybe it is to the motion to appeal. And first in the queue is the motion maker. Mr. Rutherford, you are recognized, sir, if you wish to be recognized based on the queue.
Thank you, Madam President. This is a very troubling situation in the sense that I was not expecting this to go in this direction. I came tonight prepared to speak on a deferral motion because that's what I expected to be available to speak on. So this is somewhat different. I was prepared to talk about all the things about how this would give Nashville a black eye if we ultimately rejected it. That still stands in this because we do stand to receive that black eye if we reject the military from coming into Nashville. And so I contend.
Mr. Rutherford, we have a point of order. Ms. Porterfield, you're recognized.
Point of order, Vice Mayor. Are we debating on the legislation or are we debating on the motion to overturn your ruling?
We're debating on the motion to appeal my ruling, but I will allow, I mean, in getting at why the ruling is accurate or not, there's a little leeway there, but I appreciate the point that you're making. So if we can keep on as closely on the ruling itself, Mr. Rutherford, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. And I appreciate that point of order from Councilmember Porterfield because I was actually getting there. I was saying what I was saying to set up why I made this motion to challenge the ruling of the chair. And that is because I contend that, as I had asked in my point of order, was that this does indeed involve multiple council districts. There is a single address that is one location, but this address is related to a military exercise. The military exercise is larger than that address because it involves multiple aircraft, multiple people, service members, and it impacts a large portion of our city as a result. And so therefore, I think we went down the complete wrong road in this, in allowing this to be deferred by one single council member, stating that it was solely one district. And so that's what I stand on here now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rutherford. Ms. Toombs, do you seek to be recognized on the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair? Okay. Ms. Stiles is not here. Ms. Porterfield, do you seek to be recognized on the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair? Okay, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. This particular rule, I remember when we were discussing this rule initially, and the purpose of this rule is so that a district council member has the opportunity to vet any legislation that is coming in their district so that they can opine on any legislation, so that they can make sure that they are doing what's in the best interest of their constituents. Each of the 35 district council members are elected to do what's in the best interest of their constituents. And we wanted to make sure that someone outside of the district did not bring legislation that only impacts one district without the support or knowledge of that district council member. So it is not fair to bring legislation that's only impacting one district and not giving that district council member the ability to do a deferral when that is what they believe is in the best interest of their constituents. The rule is very clear. This does not impact multiple districts. The 1414 County Hospital Road is a building inside of one district. This is not asking for permission to fly over the whole city. They don't need permission to fly over the whole city. This is asking for permission to use one building, which is located in one district, which means it's only going to impact one district. So that is very clear. The ruling was very clear. I don't understand why we're challenging your ruling, because this wasn't your ruling. This is a rule. This is a council rule. So we are, in essence, challenging our own rule. So I am speaking against the challenge, and I'm asking colleagues to support the ruling as it stood.
Okay. Ms. Darby, can you clarify from my notes, you had indicated on the motion to appeal the ruling of the chair, a yes vote was with the chair's ruling, and a no, is it in fact, okay. Okay, so Ms. Darby, could you restate that? Because I think it's somewhat counterintuitive, okay? So just so as folks go through the debate, can you clarify as folks are speaking in favor or not, sort of the language we want to use to maintain clarity?
So essentially, the question before the body is, are you sustaining the ruling of the chair, the decision of the chair? So if you are choosing to sustain the ruling of the chair, you vote yes. That means you vote with the chair. If you are not choosing to sustain the ruling of the chair, you would vote no.
Okay, is that clear? So you're not really voting yes on Mr. Rutherford's motion to, right? So I apologize. I maybe should state that differently, and we're all up here learning as we go. Okay. Alrighty, so we will continue with the debate with that clarification having been delivered by Special Counsel Darby. Now, Rules Chair Prep T, do you seek to be recognized, sir? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Like my colleague at large, I am speaking in favor of the ruling of the chair. Councilmember Porterfield really articulated it beautifully. I don't know if I can do much better, but I just want to put this into context as to the arguments that we are making about why we should or should not support our fellow council member, our honorable council member from District 1 in her objection. Let me frame it this way. If I brought a bill calling for the expansion of Nashville's airport, which sits in another council colleague's district, and I said, it affects my district because I can hear planes flying over my house, nobody in this body would respect the position that I'm taking on that because it is not my district that is going to be affected. Our council member is standing up for her district, for the people in her community who are going to be the most directly affected by this. We need to respect when our colleagues are representing their community, when they're going to be the ones who are the most directly touched by something. The way we do things, and one of the first things I said in this body was the way we do things is so important. If we're not going to have respect for the way that our colleagues choose to represent their districts and represent the interest of the people that they were elected to represent, then what are we doing? The council rules clearly state what they state. The vice mayor ruled based on the black letter of our council rules that we all voted to approve. So with that, I reiterate that I'm speaking in support of the ruling of the chair, and I ask all of my council colleagues to do the same. And to note that if this was your district, what would you want this body to do? Thank you.
All right, Ms. Welsh, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. My colleagues have spoken very eloquently about this already, but I rise in support of to sustain the chair's ruling. This is not an interpretation of anything. This is a council rule, and it sets a very bad precedent if we start overturning council rules because someone just doesn't like what the result is of actually enforcing that rule. The district council member does not want the military on her property until certain actions have taken place that takes care of her district. She has every right to ask that, and we should support that. So I ask my colleagues to vote to sustain the ruling of the chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Welsh. Chair Parker, you're recognized, sir.
Previous question.
All right. Councilman Parker has called the previous question. Is there a second? Okay, this is a non-debatable motion that requires 2/3 of those voting, at which point then we will conclude this debate and move on to the vote. Okay, we will try it first by voice. So if you are in favor of the previous question, you want to end debate and move to the vote. If you are against it, you want to keep debating this, okay? All in favor of the previous question, please say aye. All against the previous question, please say no. Okay, the ayes have it. And so we will now move on to the vote to sustain the ruling of the chair. And so this requires what kind of is it? It requires a simple majority. Okay, a special counsel Darby, can you indicate what vote is required?
A majority or a tie will sustain the vote of the ruling of the chair. Those voting.
A majority of those voting, okay? So again, we will try this by voice. Yes, sir. You're recognized, Chair Prep T.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Just so we are clear on the delineation of voting, could we please have a special counsel explain again what a yes vote means and what a no vote means?
Yes, sir, we can. A special counsel Darby, you're recognized.
If you wish to sustain the ruling of the chair, meaning her ruling will stand, then you will vote yes. If you do not wish to sustain the ruling of the chair, you will vote no.
Okay. It requires a simple majority of those voting. And so at this juncture, I will call the vote. All in favor of sustaining the ruling of the chair, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. If you are against sustaining this ruling, please say no. Okay, clearly the ayes have it, and the rule 9.2, my ruling is sustained, and that means that this matter, agenda item 52, resolution 1187, is again deferred to the second meeting in May, okay? And now, agenda item 53. Which is essentially very similar, and I would just ask colleagues to recall the length of time we just went through. But this is agenda item 53, Resolution 2025-1188, sponsors Hill and Gamble. This is a resolution approving an intergovernmental license agreement between the Metropolitan Government of Nashville and Davidson County and the United States of America to enter certain property located at 1414 County Hospital Road, owned by the Metropolitan Government for limited training purposes. Again, this is the same address in the same district. I am not sure why there is a separate bill here, but there is. Okay, so Ms. Hill, by virtue of your chairmanship, you are the lead sponsor on this bill, and so I will recognize you for your committee reports.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. In the committee, we failed to make a recommendation. 4 in favor, 4 against, and 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you. And for the report of the Planning and Zoning Committee, Chair Gamble.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning recommended approval, 7 in favor, 1 against, 2 not voting.
7 in favor, 1 against, and 2 not voting. Ms. Hill, would you make a motion, please, to get the bill before us?
I'd like to make a motion to defer this one meeting.
Okay.
It's what's coming. Let's go ahead and get there.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay, it is properly moved and seconded for a 1-meeting deferral, which would be to the 2nd meeting of May, such that it would track with the preceding bill. Is there any discussion on the deferral motion? 1-meeting deferral. Ms. Kimbrough, do you seek to be recognized on the 1-meeting deferral? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Ms. Hill has moved a 1-meeting deferral. It's properly seconded. So we have a 1-meeting deferral motion before us at this time.
I pushed before she spoke.
Okay, that's okay. No worries. All right. Is there anyone else seeking to be recognized on the motion to defer this bill 1 meeting? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay. Okay, we have to go on the board because it's a resolution that only has 1 vote, or 1 reading, rather. And so, okay. Ms. Special Counsel Darby gives her apologies. That does not need to go on the board because it is a deferral motion. And so duly noted the folks that voted no. Okay. All right. That is deferred 1 meeting. Okay, on we go. The next item that was not on consent is agenda item 56, resolution 2025-1191, sponsors Porterfield, Hill, and Stiles. This is a resolution accepting the terms of a cooperative purchasing master agreement for class 4-8 chassis. And related equipment for the Department of General Services. There's a little question about that in committee yesterday. Ms. Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for a 1-meeting deferral.
Okay. All right. And do I need to get the report of government operations because it's by rule 8.1 or? Okay. Ms. Hill, let's, if you could give us the committee report as well, please.
7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, duly noted. Okay, with the report of the Budget and Finance Committee for 1-meeting deferral, that applies Rule 8.1, which is a mandatory 1-meeting deferral, which is non-debatable. Okay, moving on then, next to agenda item 63. This is RS 2025-1198, sponsor Porterfield and Evans. This is a resolution approving an application for a community traffic safety enforcement and education grant from the Tennessee Highway Safety Office to the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metro Nashville Police Department for community-based efforts that employ highly visible and sustained enforcement coupled with community outreach events to address impaired driving and other unsafe behaviors. Ms. Porterfield, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, Budget and Finance voted for RS 2025-1198, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, thank you much. Public Health and Safety Chair Evans, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We recommended approval, 8 in favor, 0 against, 1 not voting.
Okay.
Move for approval.
All right. Ms. Porterfield has moved approval. Is there a second? Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. We're on to discussion. Is there anyone seeking to be recognized on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay. On a resolution, we can record an abstention. Ms. Kimbrough, Mr. Clerk? Okay. All right, that resolution has passed, has been adopted. Okay. Next is agenda item 71. This is RS 2025-1206. Sponsors Stiles, Gamble, and Parker. This is a resolution authorizing the Metro government of Nashville and Davidson County to abandon existing public sanitary sewer main and to accept new public sanitary sewer mains at 3 properties located on Hickory Highlands Drive and Bell Road, off-site of the project location at 2920 Hamilton Church Road, also known as Autumn Lake Off-Site Sewer. Ms. Stiles, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. Yesterday in planning,
you need to make
committees, or no, I need to, sorry. I would like to defer this for 2 meetings with a brief comment.
You need to request your committee reports, please.
And committee reports.
Okay. For the report of the Planning and Zoning Committee, Chair Gamble, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning recommended approval, 11 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. And for the report of Transportation and Infrastructure, Chair Parker, you're recognized.
We recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
Okay. All right. It's back to you, Ms. Stiles, for a motion on your resolution.
Thank you. I'd like to defer for 2 meetings with a brief comment, if I may.
Okay. Is there a second for the 2-meeting deferral? Okay. Properly seconded. Go ahead.
So I previously was very much against this. I've had conversations today with the developers. So this 2-meeting deferral allows for a conversation to take place at my community meeting before we can move this forward. And traditionally, before I have anything come before the council, I have a community meeting. So it just allows for that.
Okay, I appreciate the explanation. Is there any further discussion on the motion for a 2-meeting deferral? So this will be at the first meeting in June. Seeing none, all in favor of the 2-meeting deferral motion, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, this is deferred 2 meetings. All right. Next is agenda item 74, resolution 2025-1209, sponsors Ellis, Bradford, Gamble, Cortez, and Gadd. This is a resolution requesting the mayor's office to initiate an investigation into the operations, practices, and leadership culture of the Davidson County Department of Emergency Communications and report findings to the Metropolitan County Council. Sponsor Ellis, you are recognized.
Can I get committee reports?
You may. First among those is for Public Health and Safety. Chair Evans, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. We recommended a 2-meeting deferral with a re-referral back to committee, 9 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, that's a 2-meeting deferral with a re-referral to committee. And I apologize, 9 in favor. I apologize.
0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, got it. And for the report of the Government Operations and Regulations Committee, Chair Hill, you're recognized. And this is on Ms. Ellis's 1209.
Sorry, give me just,
That's okay, no worries.
I'm not used to having more than one sheet.
No worries.
We voted in favor, 8 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, and was that on approval? You recommend
Yes,
approval?
approval.
8 in favor, 0?
Against, 0 not voting.
Okay. All right. Ms. Ellis, that's your committee reports, and it's back to you for a motion on your bill.
Thank you. I wanted to move to defer to June the 3rd with a brief comment.
Okay, so there is a motion to defer to the first meeting in June, and it is properly seconded. Go ahead.
Thank you. So I wanted to tell my colleagues that I've talked with Director Shannon Hall in Central HR and Director or the Chief Operating Officer, Kristen Wilson, and also SEIU. And I believe that the parties are working in good faith to work out this situation. However, I want to be sure that I hear back from the workers that came before the Women's Caucus. And so to allow time for that, I'm deferring it to June the 3rd.
Okay. You have heard a explanation of the deferral motion, which is properly seconded. Is there any further discussion on the deferral motion? Ms. Stiles, you're recognized.
Thank you very much, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to thank the sponsor of the bill for being willing to defer this for 2 meetings so that we can receive the information that we've requested. We had our meeting 2 weeks ago. We have asked for the Department of Emergency Communications to do an internal survey of staff, a 360 review to really check the culture and the temperature. And that survey is going to be coming to us at the end of this month. So deferring for the 2 meetings will allow us for us to get that survey in advance.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the 2-meeting deferral motion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay. This is deferred 2 meetings to the first meeting in June. All right. Next is agenda item 76, RS 2025-1211. Sponsors Gadd, Evans, Welsh, Benedict, Stiles, Nash, Hill, Evans, Siegel, Ewing, Ellis, Vo, Allen, Horton, and Swara. This is a resolution requesting the Metro Nashville Police Department or the Davidson County District Attorney's Office employ a domestic violence dispossession investigator. Ms. Gadd, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I request committee reports.
Okay. For the report of the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee, Chair Pro T, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The committee voted to approve, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. All right. I would have thought it would be referred to your committee.
I know. I was surprised it didn't get referred to.
Same.
Anyways.
Okay, staff, we'll talk about that. Anywho, alrighty, we've got the committee report, and so it's back to you, Sponsor Gadd, for a motion.
But no disrespect to the Rules Committee, was pleased to be in there today, so thank you all so much. So, Madam President, colleagues, thank you for your time this evening. I know these meetings are always long, and tonight it feels that way once again, and removing items from the consent agenda can feel tedious. But tonight I wanted to take this moment because I think it also seems very important as we approach budget season. We were joined this evening, and we're still joined by this evening by volunteers for Moms Demand Action. Thank you all for hanging tight, hanging with us, and I know a few folks had to go on. We heard from Linda McFadden Ketchum a little earlier during public comment, and if my time allows, I'll finish her remarks. I want to thank them, and I want to thank you all for listening. This resolution before us, it does urge the hiring of a domestic violence dispossession investigator. Someone whose job is to make sure those those already prohibited from having firearms actually give them up. That's currently not happening. In 2024 alone, nearly 6,100 individuals in Davidson County with domestic violence convictions or active protective orders still had access to guns. Even when forms are returned, many are incomplete, guns go unaccounted for. This isn't a clerical error, it's a deadly gap in enforcement. Enforcement like this takes a position, and it takes funds for that position, and an agreement of where that position is going to live. In Tennessee, we know the stats are staggering. 74% of women killed by an intimate partner are shot. Right here in our community, as reported by WPLN and ProPublica last year, Michaela Carter was murdered despite a protective order. Her story is not an outlier, it's a warning. Tennessee Code 363625 already requires dispossession. But right now, reports from the Office of Family Safety that flag noncompliance are going uninvestigated. We can help change that. That's where this role comes in. Someone who can follow up, gather facts, and if necessary, pursue a search warrant to enforce the court's order. This is already happening in Scott County, Tennessee. a county that's near my my hometown over in Morgan County. This is one of the reddest counties in the state. If they can do it there, we can do it here. I also want to thank Chair Evans for her leadership during last October's unprecedented domestic violence hearings. This is where her work laid the foundation for this effort. So let's honor her work, protect our residents by passing not only this resolution, but hopefully funding for this position in our next budget. With gratitude to all of you, and without objection, I would move to apply Rule 12.3.
Okay, there is a motion to approve, properly seconded with Rule 12.3 applied, such that all voting in the affirmative will be signed on as a co-sponsor. And I heard a second for that motion. Okay, so we are on to discussion. First in the queue is Councilmember Porterfield. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just wanted to cede my time to my colleague in the event that she needed to finish. I believe she had something else that she wanted to read.
Oh, okay. Sure. Go ahead, Ms. Gadd.
That is incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much. And I will hopefully, I did want to finish Linda McFadden Ketchum's comments. Let me make sure I can get this up. All the parties, so where she left off, all the parties in a domestic violence situation are in danger. Victims, law enforcement abusers, victims and their children, especially those who have been given an order of protection, deserve to feel that law enforcement will do everything they can to protect them. Law enforcement, too, must have what they need to enforce the law without being shot in the process. Creating this position to ensure firearms are removed would only save lives and support law enforcement. From 2018 to 2020, 42% of domestic violence firearm homicide perpetrators in Nashville had past domestic violence or felony convictions, meaning they were prohibited from owning or possessing a firearm by state and federal law in the first place. This resolution will save lives. Please vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Ewing, you're recognized.
Thank you. I actually had the same thought, but I pressed the wrong button. So anyway, so since I'm standing and my name was in the queue, I just want to thank CM Gadd for bringing this to the floor and just add that it doesn't help to have laws on the books if we don't have the teeth to enforce them. So thank you for bringing this.
Thank you, Ms. Ewing. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized on the motion to approve this resolution with Rule 12.3 applied? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay. This resolution has been adopted. Next is agenda item 77, resolution 2025-1212, sponsor Huffman. This is a resolution honoring the life of Delta Ray Fry. Mr. Huffman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
For the report of the Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections Committee.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We voted to approve, 7 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
Okie dokes. Back to you, Mr. Huffman.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm going to make a motion to approve with just a brief comment. This resolution.
Is there a second?
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. This resolution, colleagues, honors the life of an individual that I came across like a lot of you did with other people through social media during the pandemic. This individual, Delta Ray Fry, brought a ton of joy, a ton of happiness to not only me and my family, but to millions around the world. Delta was many things to many people. She was a wife, a sister, a daughter, and a friend. She was a true Nashvilleian in every sense, vibrant, compassionate, endlessly curious, and deeply committed to those around her. Alongside her husband, Matthew, who has graciously joined us tonight, she shared many moments of joy, humor, and inspiration with their videos online. through simple acts of kindness and compassion, they really show that there is brightness in a very dark world. So I rise tonight to honor Delta, and I ask that you approve this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Huffman. Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution. Next is Agenda Item 78, Resolution 2025-1213. Sponsors Gamble, Hill, Porterfield, Vaux, Stiles, Benedict, Rutherford, Webb, Ellis, Welsh, Nash, Druffel, Huffman, Ewing, Swara, Cap, Taylor, and Bradford. This is a resolution honoring the life of Pope Francis. Councilmember Gamble, sponsor, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Chair Prep T.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, back to you, Ms. Gamble.
Thank you. I'm so happy Councilmember Cortez pulled this from the consent. I did want to just reiterate how Pope Francis, as a leader and Pope in the Catholic Church, was an advocate for peace. He protected the vulnerable and recognized the dignity of all people, which is so very important in the current times that we're living in. He was often referred to as the people's Pope, and as a devout Catholic, I really appreciated his leadership, and he will truly be missed. And I would ask that we apply Rule 12.3 to this resolution, and I thank everyone who signed on to it.
Okay, so there is a motion to approve with Rule 12.3 applied. Is there a second for that application? Okay. Is there any further discussion? Okay, Ms. Swara, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just want to rise in support, and I think as we go through these trying times with what our community witnessed this past weekend, and some of the emails that we've received, some quoting Bibles telling us why we should not do this, I think it's important for us, for me, as a Muslim woman, to rise and honor the Pope, because what he did was outside of one faith. It was welcoming to everybody, immigrants, LGBTQ. It does not matter your faith tradition. It doesn't matter who you are. It welcomes everybody. And I hope that the rest of the world will take note, especially those claiming to be Christians, what loving Christ and loving your neighbor is about. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Swara. Councilmember Ewing, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm really happy that I got a chance to sign on to this. Pope Francis isn't with us anymore, but I think that we can all agree that he didn't just serve the Catholic community, he served humanity. And even though he's not with us, I think we can keep his example in our hearts as we move through these very turbulent and troubled times.
Thank you, Ms. Ewing. Is anyone else seeking to be recognized? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution. Next is Agenda Item 79, RS 2025-1214. Sponsors Allen, Gamble, Welsh, Porterfield, Spain, Benedict, Stiles, Nash, Gad, Hill, Evans, Siegel, Cap, Ewing, Swara, Ellis, Webb, Druffel, Vaux, Toombs, and Taylor. This is a resolution honoring Morgan Price of Fisk University for her second National Collegiate Gymnastics Championship and additional historic achievements. Councilmember Allen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee reports, please.
Chair Prep T for the report of rules, confirmations, and public elections. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. We voted 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting to approve.
Okay, back to you, Ms. Allen.
Thank you. I'd like to move for approval with a brief explanation.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Just as a mother of a future gymnast, I can speak to how much time I know goes into this, and we didn't get to the level that Morgan Price has reached. So she's an incredible woman, and all of Nashville should be proud, and I know Fisk is especially proud. And when she won her second championship, I mentioned to Councilmember Amber that I thought it would be great to honor this. So we intend to find some occasion to present it to her in person, but I just wanted to take advantage of the opportunity to point out that Nashville has a real treasure here, and that we should honor that. And I invite my colleagues to very quickly write the clerk and sign on, which to me seems more sincere than invoking the rule, because it's not that hard to say, clerk, please add me to this resolution.
So that's metroclerk@nashville.gov. Right. Anytime you want to sign on to anything that's here before us. Okay. Oh, I was going to recognize proud Fiskite Miss Gamble. No, Okay.
Since
I know you
it
want to
like
say
that-
something.
Since you put it like that, Vice Mayor, thank you very much. I just want to concur with Councilmember Allen. Thank you for bringing forth this resolution, and we will find the time to have Ms. Price come and so that we can recognize her in the chamber. So thank you so much.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, seeing no further discussion, all in favor of this resolution, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution. Next is Agenda Item 81, RS 2025-1216, sponsors Coop Hill, Ellis, Stiles, Evans, Nash, Huffman, Weiner, Gadd, Ewing, Evans, Siegel, Gamble, Gregg, and Allen. This is a resolution recognizing May 2025 as National Foster Care Month in Nashville and Davidson County. Mr. Coopin, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Committee reports, please.
Mr. Prep T, Chair, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The committee voted to approve, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, it's back to you, Mr. Coopin, for a motion.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move approval with a brief comment.
Is there a second? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. Well, I'm really excited about this. We are recognizing May as Foster Care Awareness Month, and the first Tuesday of May is Foster Care Awareness Day, where folks are supposed to wear blue. So I thank everyone wearing a blue suit. Appreciate you knowing that that was what we're supposed to do today. But really excited about this. I'd also like to celebrate Ella Brynan, who is a public school graduate from MNPS. She's a 19-year-old. She's watching from home right now. But she successfully advocated and testified at the state, in state committees, in front of state legislators, and moved a number of them to tears with her testimony about her experience in the foster care system. And she successfully advocated in getting the Foster Youth Bill of Rights passed, which means that children in state custody have a right to education, housing, medical care, legal representation, and the ability to report violations without punishment. It's impressive, as we know, to get any bill passed at the state, but especially as a 19-year-old and rising star in this space. So really excited for her and appreciate what she's doing. Ella's also hosting a memorial on the 18th at 12 p.m. Spoke about that earlier during announcements to recognize and honor those who passed away in the foster care system. So she's doing some really great work, and it's really exciting for me for us as a council to recognize this. And so I do want to also invoke Rule 12.3 to get all voting in the affirmative to be co-signed on the bill.
Okay, is there a second for that amended motion? Okay, all righty. Okay, so we thank you for those kind words, and we appreciate her as well. Is there any further discussion on 1216? Motion to approve with Rule 12.3 applied such that all voting in the affirmative will be listed as co-sponsors. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution. Next is Agenda Item 82, Resolution 2025-1217, sponsors Benedict, Hill, Gadd, Bradford, and Allen. This is a resolution recognizing April 26, 2025 as Lesbian Day of Visibility in Nashville and Davidson County. Councilmember Benedict, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee report.
Chair Prep T.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor, and y'all are never going to guess this. The committee actually voted 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting to approve.
That's super surprising to me. Okay, back to you, Ms. Benedict, for a motion on your resolution.
Thank you. Move to approve.
Is there a second? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I rise, colleagues, to seek your support for a resolution recognizing Lesbian Day of Visibility. It's a day that affirms the dignity, courage, and contributions of lesbians in our communities and across our nation. Every year on April 26th, a couple of weeks ago, Lesbian Day of Visibility reminds us of a truth that should not need reminding, that everyone deserves to be seen, heard, and valued exactly as they are. Yet for too long, lesbian individuals, particularly those who are women of color, trans, or disabled, have lived under the weight of discrimination, erasure, and invisibility. This day is not just about pride, it is about justice. It is about recognizing that lesbians are leaders, parents, teachers, health workers, artists, engineers, and public servants. They have shaped history, fought for civil rights, and enrich the cultural fabric of our communities. Yet their stories are too often left out of the broader conversation, even within the LGBTQ plus movement. This resolution is simple. It affirms that visibility matters because visibility leads to understanding, and understanding leads to empathy, and empathy leads to a society where no one has to live in the shadows. By passing this resolution, we say to every lesbian in our districts and across our county, we see you, we honor you, and you belong here. I urge my colleagues to join me in recognizing Lesbian Day of Visibility, not as a symbolic gesture, but as a commitment to equity, respect, and inclusion. I would encourage you to email the clerk if you would like to sign on to the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Benedict. Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay, council has adopted this resolution. All right, that concludes our timely filed resolutions, but we do have on our agenda, section L, one late filed resolution. Agenda item L1. This is a resolution, again, with sponsors Porterfield and Evans, accepting a tobacco use prevention and control services grant from the Tennessee Department of Health, the Metropolitan Government, acting by and through the Metro Board of Health to improve the health of the citizens of Davidson County by preventing and controlling the use of tobacco. All right, because this is late filed, I'll go to Chair Prep T. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The committee considered the late filed nature of this resolution as well as the letter provided to the committee by the Director of Health, Dr. Areola, and ultimately voted to approve suspending the rules by you'll never guess. 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
All righty. As the chair has indicated, taking up this resolution at this time does require a suspension of the rules. Having heard the report of the rules chair and the committee's support of that suspension, is there a motion to suspend the rules? Or rather, all I have to ask, is there any objection to the suspension of the rules? Seeing none, the rules are suspended. And so, Ms. Porterfield, next, you may ask for your committee reports. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please. And I'm looking for my own committee report here.
Well, I'll go to Chair Evans first while you look. Chair Evans, Public Health and Safety, you're recognized.
We recommended approval, 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. It is, it doesn't have a number.
Budget and Finance approved, 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting, and I would like to move for approval.
Okie dokes. All righty, there is a motion to approve this grant acceptance. It is properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, you have adopted this resolution. All right. So next, on bills, section M, bills on introduction and first reading. You all will see a little bit of new language there in your agenda, but with new rule 9.3 is now in effect. And so all items on first reading shall be voted on at the same time. Separate consideration of an ordinance on first reading may be requested either by the primary sponsor individually or by 2 members. Do any items need to be removed from the collective vote on first consideration? Mr. Horton, were you seeking to be recognized regarding first reading? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Yes, I'd like to take items 95, 96, and 97.
Okay.
Please.
Okay, 95, 96, and 97, all sponsor Horton. Okay, will be removed from the consolidated vote. Okay, are any other members seeking to remove an item from first reading consideration? Okay, so again, 830, 831, 832 ordinances Horton have been removed. Is there a motion for approval of all the remaining items on first consideration? Okay, properly seconded without objection, you have approved all items, excepting those three, on first reading. Okay, so now, Mr. Horton, we will go back to items 95, 96, and 97. Let's see. Special Counsel Darby, will you remind me, can we take these all at one time? All righty, we can take all of these at one time, sir, so you go ahead.
I would like to move to approve these on first and defer the council public hearing to August 5th, please.
Okay, so Mr. Horton has made a consolidated motion of approval on first reading of 830, 831, and 832 with second reading and the public hearing to be at the first meeting in August. Is that correct, Mr. Horton? Okay, is there a second for that motion? Okay, all right. Is there any discussion on that motion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Okay, any voting no? Any abstaining? Okay. These three bills have passed their first reading, and they will have their second reading at the first meeting in August. Okay, let's see. So now we are moving into bills on second reading that were not on consent. And first among those is agenda item 100. Ordinance BL 2025-811, sponsors Sepulveda and Prep T. This is an ordinance modifying the structure of various boards and commissions to enhance operations. Pro Tem Sepulveda, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Chair Prep T for Rules, Confirmations, and Public Elections, sir, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. The committee considered the substitute, or the, let me restart. The committee considered the amendments and voted 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting for the amendment. And then on the bill as amended, voted 7 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting it to approve.
Got it. Okay, that is your only committee report. Ms. Sepulveda, it's back to you for a motion.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Move amendment.
Okay, let's get it before us first.
Move the bill.
Okay, so properly moved and seconded. Now, if you want to move the amendment.
Move the amendment.
Is there a second? Okay. Anything you want to share about the amendment?
It does a lot of things.
It does. There was an email, there were multiple emails, another one today. Okay, so there is a motion to amend. It is properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to amend, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, the amendment is on the bill, and so I need a motion to approve as amended.
Move to approve as amended.
Okay, there's a motion to approve as amended on second reading. It's properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, you need to state that you want to abstain. You want to abstain, Ms. Stiles? Okay, all righty. Mr. Clerk, would you please record Ms. Stiles as an abstention, please? Okay, next is agenda item 101, ordinance BL 2025-812, sponsor Parker. This is an ordinance amending chapter 6.72 of the Metropolitan Code of Laws to update requirements for taxi cabs. Transportation Infrastructure Chair Parker, you are recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. So committee reports, Transportation and Infrastructure considered the amendment, voted 10 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting. And on the bill as amended, recommended approval 10 in favor, 0 against, and 0 not voting.
Okay.
That is our only committee report, so I will move approval and move, thank you, and move the amendment.
Okay. So it's been properly moved and seconded. The bill is before us. There's a motion to amend. It is properly seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion to amend? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, so now I need a final motion.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'll move approval as amended.
Okay, any discussion on this ordinance on second reading as amended? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any voting no or abstaining? Okay, so this has passed its second of 3 readings as amended. Okay, we're almost there. Now we're moving on to Section O of our agenda, bills on third reading that were not on our earlier consent agenda. First among those is agenda item 107 and 108. That is sponsor Hancock. Ms. Hancock, you can take these bills together because 740 is a companion. And so I will just read 739 is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance of the Metro government of Nashville and Davidson County by applying a neighborhood conservation zoning overlay district to various properties located west of Neely's Bend Road and north of Longfellow Drive, zoned RS20 and R20. This is 211.13 acres. And then again, its companion 740, which requires certain materials be restricted in the construction of buildings that were applicable in 739. Okay, Ms. Hancock, you are recognized for a motion on your bill.
Committee reports, please.
You already have, no, wait a minute. Yep,
From yesterday.
Yeah, I'm sorry, planning and zoning. Okay, Ms. Gamble or Vice Chair Rutherford. Is Ms. Gamble still with us, Ms. Toombs, or is she just stepped out? Okay. Could someone on staff get Chair Gamble, please, kindly?
Would you like Vice Chair Rutherford to read the committee report?
Do you have the committee report, sir?
It was on consent. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
Okay.
There she is.
Thank you for your willingness to step in, Vice Chair. So Chair Gamble, this is a third reading combination of bills, Ms. Hancock, 739 and 740. They were removed from consent, so we need a committee report so Ms. Hancock can make a motion. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Gamble. Go ahead, Chair. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for Bill 2025-740, 739, and 740. Planning and Zoning recommended approval. 12 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay. All right, Ms. Hancock, so it's to you for a combined motion on these bills, please, ma'am.
I would like to move for approval of both these bills with a not so very brief comment.
All right, you've got your 3 minutes. So you are, there is a motion to approve, 739, 740. Is there a second? Okay, properly moved and seconded. Go ahead, Ms. Hancock, you're recognized.
So little did I know, I think the last time we talked about this with public hearing, this actually started months and months before I was
Colleagues, we still have 2 bills before us, so if we can please
It's really exciting.
be quiet.
It's District 9.
Hey, watch the chatter, please. Thank you.
And I shut my notebook. Okay, so this was actually started with former council member Pridemore by an approach from several community members that were concerned that their neighborhood might not retain the kind of storybook look and feel, and we're asking what they could do about it. Well, then he rolled off council and I rolled on, and, you know, things happened like tornado, COVID, fun stuff. So the community members that had approached him approached me in 2022, and I started approaching staff as well as colleagues on council that had been here longer than I, and asked what we could do. There were several things that were suggested, and we quickly realized that an overlay type of thing was what the community was most interested in. So in 2023, we talked about the overlays in detail, I then started scheduling community meetings. We had many community meetings in spring of 2024 and continued communication via my monthly newsletters, my 2 meetings a month community meetings, as well as talks on the Neely's Bend Community Facebook page and various emails and phone calls from the community. And in January of 2025, almost present day, we ran the resolution with a conservation overlay. A historic overlay had been considered, but it seemed to be too restrictive for this particular community. And with the remainder of my time, I'd like to talk about this awesome community because this is a very diverse community. You may not realize that District 9 is a plurality district, but we're more than just 3 different types of constituents, obviously. This community, Marlin Meadows, is a 0.5% of my district, but in that 0.5%, 1,079 people, we have 23% white, 24% African American, 13% Asian, 18% of another race, and 23% of 2 or more races. Very diverse. But that's not all. We're also 20% Latino. From male to female perspective, it's 41% male and 59% female. Go ladies. And we have 21% under 18, 67% 18 to 64, and 12% 65 plus. But the main thing is the median household income is $75,000, which works out to $26,000 per year for workers. And they want this overlay to help protect their community. Thank you. Here's the time.
Okay. That is right on time. Okay, so there is a motion to approve, and it's properly seconded. We are on discussion, having first heard from the sponsor. And now next in the queue is Councilmember Welsh. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I pulled these from consent because this all sounds very flowery, the Storybrooke neighborhood and all this, but the fact of the matter is that this overlay, like all these overlays, are down zones in this city. And to me, this is an example of what I was talking about earlier this evening about planning being out of touch with actual needs of our community. Overlays have very, very long arms. They are very, very difficult to remove once they are put in place. And what they do is they cut off options for the people who come next. It's essentially pulling up the ladder from people who come next. We need housing in this city, and we can't deny that. And each time we downzone and take land and housing stock out of a place where we can expand it to meet the needs of the people, it has a very, very detrimental effect on our city. I don't think at this point in time we should be approving down zones. Zoning is whatever people want it to be. If you want to maintain your neighborhood, people can live in those houses for the rest of their life and pass it on to families and keep living there. But at some point, people move, people die, and people want to make different choices with land, and they should be able to. And down zoning takes away, pulls up the ladder for people behind you. And so I don't support any down zones, particularly at this place where we are in time. And so I would respectfully ask my colleagues to think about the fact that this is in fact a down zone, and it will have effects that we will feel well into the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Welsh. Ms. Hancock, Ms. Allen, your colleague is in the queue. Would you like to let another colleague speak first? Okay. Councilmember Allen, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to speak in favor of this as a former district council member who worked on expansions for 2 conservation overlays in neighborhoods because they had seen the benefits of it. I believe it's a really important and useful tool in applicable areas. And I've also noticed that during many of the reappraisals, it has tempered the speculation that often leads to wildly accelerating housing prices. And we have been in the middle on the last 3 appraisals, not super hot and not super cold, because people move there because they love the housing and they want to stay there. It has benefited my neighborhood tremendously. It is not a downzoning, it's a protection, from what I can see, from gentrification in many cases, and from people buying houses just to replace them with something that sells on the market. I think it's a great tool. I'm excited that these neighbors have worked hard for this. It should be a community-driven problem, and I congratulate my colleague on working from the community standpoint as opposed to simply deciding what's best for the neighbors. I believe she's been through a good process, and I think that people sometimes say that this restricts options. I have seen it work so well in my neighborhood, and I believe it's a great tool, and I would ask my colleagues to support this.
Okay, Ms. Hancock, just briefly, please, because you've had your 3 minutes.
But wait, there's more. So I did want to share that the Tennessee Historic Commission, and you've just gotten an email to your email box from our Marlin Meadows resident historic professional about this. The Tennessee Historic Commission has said that this neighborhood is eligible for National Register eligibility criterion C because it retains a strong concentration of interest, houses that are, reflect major residential architecture types and styles from the mid-20th century. Just like with the Haynes Heights neighborhood, primarily African and American neighborhood, this particular conservation overlay is intended to help these working class people. A very diverse neighborhood, as I mentioned before, but what you might not have heard at the end, because my speech was so flowery, thank you for the compliment, is that the average income of this neighborhood is $26,000 per person. They want this because they believe that this will help them be able to afford this. And a colleague that I hope won't mind me quoting when they were quoted in a local press article, and this council member supported this just previous to me, said, "We are losing our small 1940s ranches and attic apartments that have been entry points into the neighborhood in the past. This is not a down zone. The lots that are 4 times the size of the current zoning can have 3 more houses in addition to that other house. It's just that we don't want them to build McMansions and kind of drive the current people out of the neighborhood. We want to welcome newcomers and keep those that are here that want to stay." Thank you.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, we will move to the vote. This is a bill on third reading. Okay, we will try it first by voice. Again, it's a consolidated motion on 739 and its companion 740. All in favor, please say aye. Any voting no? Okay, with that no vote, we will have to go on the board. So colleagues, please hang in. We've also got one more. Please respect that Chair Parker has another bill left. I know we're all pretty tired, but Mr. Clerk, if you would please load the machines. Colleagues, our rules require a third reading with a no vote must be recorded by machine. So kindly please quickly move to the vote. Mr. Clerk, did you indicate all votes in? Okay, Mr. Clerk, please show the vote. Okay, this motion has passed with 27 votes in favor, 2 against, and 3 abstentions. 739 and 740 have passed their third and final reading. Okay, last item on our agenda is agenda item 109, ordinance BL 2025-760. Sponsor Parker. This is an ordinance to amend Title 17 of the Metro Code of Laws, the zoning ordinance Metro government, by changing from RS10 to R10 zoning for property located at 3101 Hillside Road, approximately 196 feet south of Broadmoor Drive. This is 0.2 acres. Mr. Parker, you are recognized, sir.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Okay, for the report of Planning and Zoning, Chair Gamble, you're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Planning and Zoning recommended a 2-meeting deferral, 11 in favor, 0 against, 0 not voting.
Okay, it's back to you, Mr. Parker, for a motion.
Move a 2-meeting deferral.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, it's properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the 2-meeting deferral? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Any voting no or abstaining? We are very, very close to adjourn, but our birthday girl and Chair of Budget and Finance has requested a point of personal privilege before adjournment. You're recognized.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I will be extremely brief. I just wanted to get up and tell my beautiful and precious sweet daughter happy birthday. In 2 hours, my daughter will be 18 years old. So happy birthday,
We love you,
Janaya.
Janaya. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, with that, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.